All right, I'm gonna record. You guys ready? I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Why not?
Great news. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Core. This is Core for Thursday, July 29th, 2021. We talk about video games, and we do it with you. My name is Scott Johnson. I'm with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger today. As we always
Yeah!
are. Yeah! Woo!
Woo! Core time!
Yeah,
Woo!
core time.
Celebrate!
Yeah,
Everyone, get out of your car and take your clothes off and run around it. Woohoo!
Yeah,
the
man,
best podcast in your car.
Party time, USA.com. Anyway, welcome. We got the stuff to do and talk about and discuss. Before we get too far into things, though, all right. So I'll just explain this the best way I can. I had a little cathartic moment yesterday where I sat down and I drew a broken hearthstone on the ground, and that thing kind of took off today and went all over the place. And places like Reddit are up to 10,000 upvotes or something, and it's a little insane. And as a result, I wasn't really planning on that. I was just kind of trying to express my feeling in the wake of all this Blizzard stuff, which you heard us discuss at length last week. The reason I'm bringing this up now, and I'm showing it to the chat room on screen right now, is a whole bunch of people said, you should put that up on a shirt or a sticker or a print or something. I would totally buy that. And I said, no, I don't want any money from this at all. Like 0 pennies for this, please. And then others pointed out, well, do it for charity. Do it for one of these charities that supports women in workplace situations, especially in the gaming industry. And there's a number of them. And everybody handed me a bunch of names to deal with. And also the stuff that they were promoting for the Blizzard walkout. A bunch of those names as well. And so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a charity thing. And it's going to all go to that, 100% of it. I'll let you know what it is soon. I probably won't know till tomorrow what the actual use case will be. There's some questions about artwork. I'm working with my people. I have sources, and we'll try to get those out there. If it's something you want, it's not something you have to get, of course, but any that sell, all of the proceeds will go 100% to some of these charities, if not all of them. Maybe split apart. I mean, it depends on how much it sells, I guess. I don't know. I just want to do some good. So we're going to try to do a little good. Instead of just bitching about it, maybe do something about it. How about that?
Well, they decided for the Blue Heart, I guess, as a thing for the Activision Blizzard lockout, but this would be a way better.
Well,
if this were to become a symbol for a movement about, overall gender equality in the games industry, it would be appropriate. It's not like a I feel like I think I'm feeling you a little bit. I don't want to make money off this. This is
absolutely
this is my emotion poured out into a piece of artwork about something I'm upset about.
Yeah. This was purely like my way of expressing that, and I was having trouble, like verbally. I do a lot of shows and I talk a lot, but I don't know. I still don't have all the right words, and it's difficult for me to express that. So sometimes I try to do it this way because that's another way I can do it. And I wasn't even going to share it originally. I was like, I drew this thing. Maybe I won't put it up. And people were like, you should put it up. It's cool. And I'm like, all right, I'll put it up. And it really took off. And I'm glad that it has meaning for other people. And there's a few that think it's, I never want to have this like feeling of like, well, he's doing that for some reason other than just that's his expression. Because I'm really not. And I don't want any freaking money for this at all, please. So instead of feeling weird about telling everyone, no, we're not making any merch out of it, we'll do it for something good. How about that? We'll do some good somewhere. Somebody who can use it and need it, and not us. How about that?
I think it's striking because we've used hearthstones for a long time.
Yeah,
and we've seen all kinds of remixed art. Illidan farting his way across Outland or something like this. I've never seen a broken hearthstone. It's a picture of something I've never seen.
Well, in my mind, just to give you kind of where my head was at, it was the symbol that came to my head because. Forgetting about the game Hearthstone, which has its own, people, whatever their reverence is for that game. In World of Warcraft, since day one, it was this symbol of like, if you get out too far, or you get lost, or your bags become overburdened, or whatever it is, this takes you home. Wherever you've said, this is where home's going to be, and that's where you've said home was going to be. That home may change, but you can always get there through one of these. Mm-hmm. And so what in my mind, what better way to express how I was feeling about this than to have that shattered a little bit? Doesn't mean that with enough hard work on the part of Blizzard and people in that world couldn't assemble that back into a working Hearthstone. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
this isn't me just saying
Taco Bell meat in there, and
yeah. There's no nougat or golden caramel like some people may have thought is the word. It's just stone, it turns out. And if they want to put it back together, that's on them. But this was enough for me to sort of express how I was feeling. And hey, if it takes off, great. Let's do some damn charity and help. Okay, let's move on because we got a lot to talk about today. And we're going to start with this. All right, check this out. PlayStation sold 10 million PlayStation 5s in its, let's see, what are the first months? Well, anyway, its first quarter or 2 quarters, I guess it is.
10 million.
10 million, that's a lot. Now, you're going to say to yourselves, well, wait a minute, how's that possible? I can't even get one. So there's 2 things going on at the same time, and they're both true. One is demand was already high for a new console from both them and Microsoft. We'll get to them in a second. And so you already had the demand. And then you had pandemic exacerbated problems with supply chain and chip shortages. That is also true. And those 2 things combined to create a perceived we can't get one, there must not be any, but also we're selling every single model we make. And as a result, this is the fastest selling in that amount of time PlayStation that Sony's ever made. It beats PlayStation 2, which was huge launch, had a really long tail. We'll see if it can go that far, but this beats PS4, 3, all of them. Nothing is launched this quickly with this many units sold, and that's still with a backlog in production and not being able to get enough internals to get those things made at the rate of the demand. That's really good news for Sony. Microsoft having similar news. They also had the best launch in their history. The Xbox Series S and X have outsold in that amount of time all other Xbox launches in the history of the company, which is what now, 22 years old or whatever, since they've been making Xboxes. So they had the exact same kind of experience, and they're also faced with a lot of the same supply chain issues and are having trouble keeping up with demand. So the hope is that the lack of pipeline doesn't mean eventually that you're going to all start paying more money for these games, or for these consoles rather, when they do start to become more common in stock. But the good news is the demand is there. People want them. This doesn't even discuss the idea that during this exact same period, you couldn't keep Switches on the shelf to save your life. They were selling out everywhere. So games kind of had a real banner time during the mid and late pandemic and continuing today. Thoughts, feelings?
Not bad for 2 consoles that everybody said, I don't know why they're even bothering making these.
Yeah.
It's not that big of an upgrade.
Yeah, remember that? People always do that.
Yep, I do.
Such a dumb thing.
Why do I need this? It's not good. And then they sell record amounts.
Yeah, and they always say it every generation. And the previous record was the PS4, and that generation, same thing. Well, what do we even need this for? PS4 3 is working fine. It's only been 8 years. Someone will always say that, and they will always be wrong, at least from a sales perspective. Sony and Microsoft aren't stupid. They know what this cycle means to them, and they both did real good during that time. There's a bunch of other revenue and stuff that they talked about, but for the most part, it all came down to, all right, that's 10 million already as a worldwide install base. That's enough to justify a lot of first party development if that's going to be your focus this generation, and it may be their focus this generation. So even if it's stopped there, that's a successful console launch. They don't want it to stop there, obviously, but
yeah. The big difference being I know only a fraction of PS4 players are probably paying a monthly fee for something, but I got to think the percentage is really high. Like, who's buying an Xbox and not getting Game Pass?
Yeah. Oh, I have to think
seems
that
really
attach
weird.
rate is like out of almost 1-to-1, right? It'd have to be.
I would hope so. If you bought one of the new Xboxes and you didn't get Game Pass, I would have questions for you.
Yeah.
I don't know
Why
that you
didn't
would
get a PlayStation 4.
Like, would there have been
5.
if there was no Game Pass? Well, here's the honest truth: no Game Pass, no Xbox for me.
Right, I'd be on the PS5.
I'd be
probably.
on the PS5 because what's the value of that Game Pass is the value of the Xbox moving forward. Yeah. That's just the truth. It doesn't mean it's not great. It is good hardware. It doesn't mean any of those things are bad. It just means, if you're going to make a decision, one versus the other, that's the product you're buying. You're not just buying that box. In fact, they don't even so much care that you buy the box anymore. They just are like happy to have your subscription. But it feels like that's got to be a 1-to-1 attach rate or close. And if it's not, then that's bad for Microsoft. But I have to think it is, right? It's got to be.
Well, because I think on surface level, it looks like they're neck and neck. But
yeah,
I think if your box is a sub box and your PS4 is a kind of optionally sub box, like Xbox is ahead and winning the money race. Anyways.
Yeah. I think that's probably
true.
Because
the guaranteed revenue, man, like, every month they're World of Warcraft now. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's the same. I mean, yes, they have to pay their content suppliers, but they just don't have to make the games. Like, I don't know. I kind of curious more how the economics of it all work. Is it pay per plays, pay per time per month? Is it just a set fee? I'm sure developers like consistent revenue too, rather than spiky revenue.
Yeah.
How does it all work? I'm very curious
Sure.
about that. But it seems very much in Microsoft's benefit. And you're right, that install base just means, we're going to develop a lot more games because we got a lot more incentive. We want to keep the money they're giving us.
Yeah.
PlayStation has to make people open their wallets with everything they do. I'm open. My wallet's opened. There's a nice little siphon going into my wallet now. And the only thing that's going to make me stop is a reason to stop. So I think that's a better position to be in.
I think that they're banking on that. That is 100% their strategy.
Yeah. I also think, to both consoles' credit, this is the first generation where I haven't personally felt like there was, no clear-cut winner as far as like which console to get. Not that it has to be if you bought an Xbox One or whatever, it's fine. But there was no doubt about it. There were missteps. Microsoft would be the first ones to tell you there were missteps with the Xbox One compared to the PS4. Before that, I think Sony, if they're being honest, would admit there were issues with the PS3 compared to the Xbox 360.
For sure.
So I kind of feel like this is the first time where it felt like both companies came out, put forth their efforts, and they were both real solid. They both are really great. I think Microsoft investing and updating the controller and maybe taking some lessons learned there would be a huge step forward for them. I think Sony adopting some sort of sub model to kind of emulate Game Pass would be huge for them. So I think there's still room to grow and things to learn, but I think it's neat that for once both companies put forth just really, really solid and great systems.
Yeah, I think at this stage appear to be making money right away, and less of the lost leadership stuff that usually plagues a console launch. I mean, there may be a little bit of that going on, but it's not nearly what it usually is. Yes, Bo.
To be honest, this time around too, I mean, Microsoft and Sony have me because yes, I bought an Xbox and not a PlayStation. Well, they have me or they have Tanner. We'll see whoever buys one for me first. Thank you, Tanner, for the PS4, by the way.
No kidding.
But I'm going to want to play the next Final Fantasy remake.
Right.
I'm going to hold out, but when the next remake comes, I want to get a box of tissues and play Final Fantasy Remake 2.
To cry into the tissues. Right. I just want to clear that clarity.
It's for
you
crying.
Know what? That might
it's a
be
different
an important
game.
distinction.
Okay.
It's Yakuza. It's for a different. Tissues are for a different thing in Yakuza.
Yeah, Yakuza.
But in Final Fantasy, it's for crying and melodrama.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So it's looking good for everybody. Basically, everybody's winning. Nintendo's winning. That's the other thing is this is also not. There's no weird third place straggler this time around. Everybody's winning in their zone.
I mean, Stadia.
I mean, well, no, but this is my point. Usually, you have a pack of 3 or 4 that are just. There's like 2 that are killing it, and then somebody's way off in the distance. You have all your big 3, all kind of they're all holding their unique ground at the moment.
Yeah.
And they are unique for each of them. They're kind of holding unique ground for the first time. They're not trying to compete on the same ground. And while that's happening, everything else is so far behind that. Like Stadia and freaking.
Do we count Luna? Is that out? Or is that
Luna's
just
still in beta, and it's whatever. Luna's fine. Luna's closer to what NVIDIA now is, and so I think that's more like the place that'll shine.
Okay.
But like, other
The
examples.
VR machines, like there was a big push to get VR that didn't really hit mainstream levels of console fever.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call them consoles, in that Sony's announced they've got another headset follow up to the PlayStation VR that was successful on PS4. So I think those are still distinguished from each other. But like the Atari VCS thing, and what's the other one that was supposed to be all that? Well, whatever. All those also rans are way down the path. The big three are kind of killing it, and they're killing it at the same time. It's weird. It's really weird.
There's also a lot of good computer equipment in the boxes. It's not like you're not. No one's starting a company now with the kind of low price, awesome hardware that you can get out of these things.
It's also shocking just how well. PCs have never been in a better place either. That's another thing you can't get is a damn video card, and for similar reasons, the demand is high. And
I was thinking about it.
Yeah, you were. I was going to say.
I went looking, and it didn't go well at all. I was like, maybe I could get a 3070. That'd be pretty nice upgrade. So I did a little research, and the amount of people that just told me just buy a new computer, I was like, no.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to spend. What a 3070 costs. I don't want to buy a new computer. I just bought a new computer. Stupidly, I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, hey, you're not going to be able to get a video card. Because when I got the new computer, I knew that new video cards were coming soon. So the only thing that isn't great about my new computer is I didn't go high end on the video card because I assumed I would get a new one at some point. And then two things happened. One, you can't buy the video cards anymore. And two, I lost my job and the ability to easily buy a video card went away.
Yeah.
So it's
and the pandemic happened, which means that the pipeline issues affect you even more because A, you can't get one, and B, you can't get one. Like you can't get one no matter what.
Are you in one of the states that's also having I don't know the exact stuff. It's funny for a news show. I probably should have looked at this when I heard it, but I think some states are also not selling. They've stopped the sale of high-end PC gamer equipment because of power consumption issues and environmental safety.
No, I haven't heard that.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't be in one of those states. Our state doesn't care about anything.
Oh, yeah,
I think it's only 7 states. I wasn't sure if Arizona was on the list, but I think that's for complete builds. It might not be for parts, but Dell computers, like certain computers, are being blocked from being sold in California because they're overly, it was determined that gaming, because everyone's at home gaming, it's a large draw on the electricity, and they're trying to curtail carbon footprint. And
not only that, their power grid is effed. Like California's always having brownouts and roll over, or what do you call it, rolling blackouts and forced stuff, and then outages for weeks and fire related outages. Like their power stuff is a major problem, so it doesn't shock me to hear that, but I hadn't heard it, so it's crazy. And it's probably not just Dell. It's just Dell's probably a prominent part of that. Dell owns, what do they own? They own Alienware.
Oh, I think maybe it's not true. I think maybe it's a lie, or
the whole thing's a lie. Cool.
Well, there's an article on the Gamer saying are not being banned in several U.S. states, so I don't know. I guess that's why I didn't bring it, because it wasn't super.
Yeah.
Anyways, never mind.
Chat room's talking about it like it's real, so maybe there's some.
It was definitely something being talked about, but I didn't do my research, so I don't know.
No worries. We're not the hardest hitting news source that you can find on the internet, but we have the most fun. Damn it.
The states listed though were California, Colorado, Hawaii, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington, preventing Alienware from shipping high-end desktops to these locations, and it's due to the power issues I mentioned.
Allura for real in the chat says Dell is not real in all caps. I love that. That's great. They're not real. They were never real. Michael Dell is an illusion.
Yeah, that kid that was all excited that you were getting a Dell is not a real person.
Wonder how he's doing. Do you think he's like in the porn industry?
I heard he went to jail for weed.
Oh,
but,
really?
they say that about every kind of I'm pretty sure they said that about the Taco Bell Chihuahua at one point. So
really,
the Target dog.
I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard.
They gave the Chihuahua a pee test and were like, nope.
You gotta get your piss test, as they say in the Trailer Park Boys. Get your piss test.
They put a little pee pad under him, and it came up dirty.
Green.
This is what I want. I want the Chihuahua from Taco Bell, the circle-eyed dog from the Target commercials, and one more What other dog would
Spuds McKenzie.
All right, Spuds McKenzie. You get those three chuckleheads in Vegas or whatever. They're doing all sorts of terrible stuff. It's bad. That's what that'll totally happen. What you just described. Yeah.
Wonder how many people knew who Spuds McKenzie was.
Yeah. Do your memories
I
go
remember
back?
Spuds
Chat?
McKenzie, but
Yeah.
the memory is vague. It feels like kind of
What was the Futurama Slurm character called? It was based on that. Slurms McKenzie or Slurms. Shit. Oh, that's such a great episode of that. I can't remember it. I can't remember it. I think it's Slurms McKenzie, honestly. It's the same idea, except he's a slug from outer space.
I remember these ads.
Yeah, you remember these? You know what's going on.
Yeah. I remember.
All right. Nobody with the slurm in the chat. All right, fine. I love Futurama. F off. Here's the next thing. Yeah, Slurms McKenzie. I had it right, says Ace Tigress 02. Moving on, Blizzard staged a walkout yesterday, and it was a big protest. It's strange to call it a walkout, and they would tell you that it's strange themselves because nobody has been on the Blizzard campus outside of a few systems people since the pandemic happened. Since the original lockdown in March of 2020, they've all been working remotely. So this was literally what looked like thousands of Blizzard employees rolling up to the Blizzard campus from home and home offices where they work remotely to the building itself and then protesting outside the campus. So it's a little unusual in that regard. But normally this would be a thing they'd all get up from their cubies and walk outside, but it's the opposite in this case because of the pandemic. Anyway, they did that yesterday. It was a pretty insane turnout. And the main takeaway I wanted to talk about today, we've had our way with Blizzard on this show, and certainly the instance, and that's going to happen one more time tomorrow. So you're getting all the anger you can handle already. But what I thought was interesting here is it appears that nobody's doing anything right now. Like they are, in effect, kind of striking. It's not exactly a strike in the legal sense of the term, but multiple Blizzard employees who are either on teams that are normally in full production on whatever, World of Warcraft or other games, have come out publicly and said, we're just not doing anything right now. We can't. Like this is kind of.
Didn't WoW just do an emergency patch?
They did.
They
and
do a
so,
maintenance fix.
Yeah, that made me wonder if, someone can say this, but is there a guerrilla team, like a small team that's just always
it's just
there?
JL and Brack.
Yeah, it's JL and Brack.
They're like, well, who's in the office? Well, you got to take down some stuff. Go for it.
Yeah. So
I'm sure they have it. I'm sure even though there's a strike, because it's a live service, there has to be an on-call team.
No, there has to be. There has to be some basic thing, and I'm sure it's been a scramble. But I mean, like design teams and like new content teams, they're not doing anything right now. And no. And I get why, and I support them 100%. But I just think that is an interesting twist on this because normally you hear about one of these things like when it happened at Ubisoft, and they're tied up in this news story too because the Ubisoft did a bunch of the employees, 500-600 of them from different studios, did kind of a solidarity thing all day yesterday with Blizzard and are demanding similar action from their leadership, which I think is good. But when it happened at Ubisoft, the first thing you heard about wasn't, oh, so they've stopped cold on new content for, I don't know, Legion or the next Assassin's Creed game. It just was like business as usual, but working on their shit. In Blizzard's case, it sounds like there was just like a screech. Everybody stopped and said, "We're not doing this till you guys freaking fix your poo." It's not clear that Blizzard or Activision are doing anything that will actually resolve anything, at least from the legal side or the leadership side. They seem to still kind of suck terribly, even in the light of all of this. But not much else has changed.
Control.
There's been some other nasty shit that went down between when we last talked. I've lost track of it all. Honestly, I can't remember shit about anything. This stuff is
and the
draining
truth
me.
is, there's not a ton to say at this point. Like, yes, there have been more details to this story. They're out there. You probably, if you're thinking it, you probably already know what it is. And I don't know how many times we can come together and say, well, yeah, Blizzard, they're bad. Activision Blizzard, they're bad. Like, obviously, we've said our piece on this. We don't like it, and there are better conduits to hear stories more unique that aren't on every video game news website out there. Scott, I know you just did an episode of The Instance with our friend Jules that kind of focused on offering a perspective that isn't getting heard very often. And so I would encourage people to go find that. Let's not just regurgitate the same news stories about this. Like, it's bad. We all agree it's bad. If you don't agree that it's bad, then go away.
Yeah, go away.
We don't need to hear from you.
Yeah.
So that's really all there is to say about it.
Yeah. If you don't like, we had somebody on the core YouTube say some message about, I think I shared it with you guys, how they didn't like how we were talking about whatever we talked about and said you've lost a fan. I'm like, all right, bye. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. If you're telling me you're for this behavior, then I don't want you here anyway. And if you're against it, then help us work on what we can to help contribute to a better community around it. How about that? How about that? All right. Moving on. Bo, do you have anything to add? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, I thought the Cosby photo was pretty awfid, but
it's pretty bad. You know what's funny? Well, not funny. What's interesting about that is a number of the people in what they call it, the Cosby cute or
Cosby suite.
That's it.
Yeah.
Have come out, multiples of them, and said, we didn't call it that because he's a rapist. We didn't know about that then in 2013 when that photo was taken. And I tried to think about, well, when did we know about Cosby and when was all that going down?
The first allegations were in 2005.
Yeah, they were a long time ago. So,
yeah.
So do I believe them? I don't know. Maybe some don't know. Maybe some didn't. I didn't know about Cosby.
I will say I didn't know about it because, and I did it like a week or two ago. I did a Cosby impression on this show. Yeah. And it turns out every time I do that, something happens to make me immediately regret doing it.
That's true.
Because the only other time I had done it publicly before that was I did it as a joke at a BlizzCon. They had a voice acting panel, and I thought it would be funny to get up and read the same dialogue that everybody else was. As Bill Cosby. Mm-hmm. This was literally the day that it came out in all the newspapers, the stuff that Cosby had done. Mm-hmm. So I went up on stage, I did that, and I remember somebody making the comment, that's a brave choice for today. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And I got off the stage, and literally on the news at that point is when I found out. And that's when I found out. But that was a long time after all these there had been early allegations and rumors and scuttlebutt that they tried to keep hidden, and I didn't hear any of that. Yeah. So I guess saying that, I do believe that there's a case that there are probably some people that didn't know it was being called that for the bad reasons that it might be called that.
Sure.
But I have a feeling that there are people who are in the know that named it for that specific
That's
purpose.
What I wanted to say, too. Like, I'm glad you put it that way, because there are absolutely people up there in that suite who know. They know. They or one or more. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I really don't know. And when they come out and say, I didn't know about those allegations till 2015, I mean, if I'm honest, I didn't either. I never heard about it till 2015. I could point to the TMS episode where we talked about it. It was in 2015. It was after I'd seen Fury Road. That's how recent in my head the Cosby bullshit went down. Should somebody have known better in 2013? Somebody, yes. They claim they named it that because the carpet up there in the Hilton looks like an old Cosby sweater from the Cosby Show. That's what they are saying. Take that for what you want. I'm not saying up or down. All of that started coming out about all this stuff, and it was all on blast all at once. And that was the day I went, all right, well, I might need to go outside and walk my dog and maybe not come back for a day or two, because I've so had it with all these details and all this stuff. Easy for me to do, easy for me to avoid. I'm not one of the victims. But that's partly why I did sit down with Jules, talk to her on the instance. I wanted to have a woman's perspective. And moreover, I wanted to just sort of re-examine my own biases, my own, inability to notice or to see my role, in making things better or whatever. It can be mad as I want to be, and I am, but can I do more than that? These kinds of questions. This was important to me to explore that. And having her there made a big difference. She's an old friend anyway, but she's also just really smart, and she knows her stuff, and she's been around the block and seen stuff firsthand. So I really recommend you guys go listen to that, actually. If you want to ignore all the other yelling that all these white guys on their podcasts are doing, that episode with Jules, maybe even you can ignore me if you want to, or just think of me as just I don't know, the other guy in the room. But she really helped me a lot with her perspective, and I would recommend it. So go check it out if you want.
Yeah. The one thing I would say about that in a more light tone is that it looked like they were trying to outdo South Park. Just first impressions, like a bunch of programmers make a Cosby group and then they're in a hotel room. Like, it's awful. But it just, anyways, that was the impression.
The more damning part was their group chat after. If you read the whole article, it wasn't just about a photo. Photos can be misunderstood or misconstrued, and in this case, maybe it's 100% what we think it means, or maybe it isn't. But the point is that there was stuff said later by a lot of people up there that people respect, myself included, that really, really bummed me out, and I was already bummed out. So my bum was out, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I think you're supposed to keep your bum in, but
keep your bum in, yeah. Always keep your bum in, but if you want to, I really do think that hearing from Jules was not only cathartic for a lot of listeners, but for me it was educational and kind of institutional. It was important, and I don't know. I hope people get stuff out of it. If you don't, I can't guarantee it. I promise that you'll probably will. There's my guarantee. You heard it here first. All right, moving on. There's a new Xbox Game Pass ad that's floating around that features a PlayStation 4 controller and a Nickelback joke. Now,
is this the Ryan Reynolds one?
I don't think so.
There's a Ryan Reynolds one.
Let me see.
They spent all that new Xbox Game Pass money on hiring Ryan Reynolds.
Well, why? Everyone likes Ryan. He's cool. People like him.
He's cool, but he's not as good as he thinks he is.
Well, all right.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And I think he'd agree.
I don't know. I kind of like him, but I haven't really thought about it.
Too.
I haven't really thought about it. But this ad here, let's see if I can get to the part where there's the controller.
Yeah, let's hear some audio.
I might get in trouble because it's music, though.
Oh, don't.
It's music.
Yeah, they'll ding me for the music.
Friggin' All For One showing up in here to do an Xbox ad with.
We don't want to be sharing cultural touchstones such as music. It's terrible.
Yeah, they don't want to do that.
Why would we listen to music together?
I mean, heaven forbid. I might even get dinged
also,
for showing
why
the
are
ad.
we harping on the Nickelback reference? They're also doing an ad that's a parody of "I Swear" from All For One.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. They're dragging. Whatever. They're having fun at the expense of. Oh, was that Boys to Men? Was that
but who's the white guy? That's not Boys to Men,
isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, I don't know. The guy in the back looks like.
This is not Boys to Men. This is.
I don't know. Who this
Boys to Men.
This is a cover band.
Is it Boys to Men? It's not Boys to Men.
It says it's All For One. All For One.
All right, it's Boys to Men.
Yeah,
then.
but Boys to Men.
They're old now, Bo.
White
They
guy
got old.
In Boys to Men, guys.
Is there not a white guy in
Just
Boys
do a
to Men?
Google image search and have a look. This is they're a little more fit maybe. I mean, they're older, but they're not that bad. I don't think even now.
I don't know. Maybe that guy. I don't know. I don't know anything about Boys to Men.
I'm telling you, it is not Boys to Men. Okay.
I think it's Boys
anyway.
to
The
Men.
point is, everything about this ad is timely and hilarious and great.
Yeah, it is. But the important part I wanted to get to here. Forget about Nickelback. Forget about all that. At one point, this girl is using a PlayStation controller while she's using Game Pass on a mobile device, and that's the part I wanted to point out. That's some.
I mean, theoretically, you can do it, right?
Oh, you 100% can. I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. It's a weird ass thing to be able to plop down to your Apple phone. Okay, so just imagine a world we live in. 10 years ago, I walk up to you guys and go, guys, guess what I did? I sat down with an Apple phone, an iPhone, and then I paired a PlayStation controller to it, and then I played an Xbox game on it. And you wouldn't believe me. It sounds insane what I just described, this combination. It seems insane. But yeah, here we are. This is the world we live in now. Sonic is going to the Olympics with freaking Mario. That's the world we live in. So get used to it, I suppose.
So it's the fact that you can pair any controller with the Xbox.
Well, you can. No, you don't pair it with the Xbox. You pair it with an xCloud device. So you could pair it on your Mac or a PC, and it would work with Game Pass. If I paired it on my phone and was running xCloud Game Pass on my phone, I can use any controller I want. Any third party. I've done it with a Nintendo controller. This one.
Oh wow!
in here somewhere. I don't know where it went, but I have a Pro controller that also works. It's a little confusing because you know how Nintendo has the A, the B, the X, and the Y in different positions. Mm-hmm. That throws you a little bit when you're using a Nintendo controller. But anyway, you can do whatever you need. Chat room says, nope, I was boys for now. Nope, that's not it. Boys for now.
The group is all for one.
Okay, it's
I
all
said
for
it like
one.
3 times. I don't know why you guys keep talking about Boys to Men.
I don't know
It's a
either.
group
Because
called
it's a
All for
cover.
One.
I swear, the original is a Boys to Men song. I swear by the sun and the moon and stars, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Hold on, let's find out if this. So, what's their big song? What is All for One sing? What do we know? Oh, I swear that is their hit single.
That is their hit song.
Okay,
Yes.
so Bo, you and I both thought that Boys to Men sang "I Swear." It wasn't. It was All for One.
Doesn't Boys to Men?
And All for One has kind of a white guy in it. Although I think he's probably Hispanic, but he's not. That's why you're confused.
Am I mixing up? I never heard of All for One.
You're mixing All for One and Boys to Men up, which is great.
Really?
If you threw Menudo in there, then you'd be a true Canadian. So don't worry about it.
Wait a second. I'm still not tapping out yet.
Chat room, LOL, wait for the DMCA strike on Bo.
Really? It's All for One that sings I Swear? I always thought it was Boys to Men.
I did too. I'm with you. I'm with you on this
hell?
confusing journey. Yeah, I had no idea.
I guess not.
Well,
I'm
anyway.
not finding the Vivo video.
Yeah, Vivo's, that's where you'd go. All right, moving on while you're looking that up. Check this out. Resident Evil Village. Remember that game, John? We played it together. You watched me. Remember that?
We did. Did you ever go back and play more of it, which is what you said you were thinking about doing?
No, but I will admit the other day I was tempted to hop in there, and I just haven't done it yet. So I should probably get around to checking it out and seeing how I feel. I mean, if they let me go straight to having that gun that I can one-shot people with, I'd do it. But since I got to go unlock more to unlock that, then unlock it again or whatever to do that, I don't know if I have it in me to do that. But maybe. I never say never is what I'm getting at. All right? So stick around, America. It may happen. Resident Evil Village sold 4.5 million copies. And then I wrote, how much shit food did Dutch sell during all of that?
Wait, what?
You know, you go to Dutch and you give him ingredients and he sells you food back with
The Duke?
What did I say? Dutch? The Duke.
Yes.
Sorry, I wrote
Isn't
Dutch.
Dutch and Predator?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Dutch is Arnold in Predator. Oops. Sorry, I meant
Dutch.
the Duke. The Duke, not Dutch.
Yeah.
Not the Dutch. The Duke.
I mean, I don't trust myself. I got the Boys to Men thing wrong, and I'm still reeling from my massive error.
But
My brain is so upset, and now I'm like, maybe is it Arnold Schwarzenegger in Dutch?
Yeah, he's Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, unless you're talking about the film Dutch, which is, in that case, it's Al from Married with Children. He's Dutch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remember that? It was a John Hughes movie, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. The point is, what is the point? The point is, I love stats like that when they put out like an infographic. So it's one thing to say, oh, our game sold 8 million copies. It's another thing to say, and players killed 58 billion goblins or whatever. I love that kind of stuff. Those kinds of bits of data. We don't know that here, though. I just want to know how much did the Duke
Hey,
rip people
did
off
you guys
for?
see the Cyberpunk stats? The joke stats?
No.
It was like 0% of players did this thing.
Really?
Hang on, I'll find it. Yeah, it's basically somebody on the Reddit or whatever put out these stats. Yeah, 0% of players have ridden on the subway. Like they did these fancy things. Anyways, it just reminded me of
I
that.
love that. No one rode the subway in the game, they're saying?
Yeah, because it was in the trailer, but the subway was never actually something you could use in the game.
Oh, that's right. That's not in there.
Yeah, so hang on. I think I've found a link to it. Fans can't stop dunking on this. Yeah. Hang on.
Oh, that dead horse has some more kicks going into it, doesn't it? That's
Yeah,
how
well,
that's
there's.
going.
Oh, yeah. So players have modified appearance of their bodies 0 times.
Wow.
0 bullets fired from a player vehicle in the open world. 0.00% of players have ridden on the subway. Like, and there are all these infographics that are like animated and well done.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Oh, 0 million spent on car and truck customization.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I love those kinds of infographics. Now I need to see this one because it's obviously the most sardonic thing ever made.
I'll send you the link.
All right, link that over to me
later.
It's really good.
That's pretty good. All right.
If you're gonna do that kind of thing, you go all in like that. That's fantastic.
I agree. Hey John, I don't know if you heard, but Zoom didn't just introduce a new flicker to your computer screen.
They're gonna do something else to it.
Yeah, they have a new feature. They're adding a game service, which makes sense to me because Zoom is everywhere right now, and why not try to get in on this this games train? But basically, here's what they're saying. They rolled out onto its marketplace an offering for more than 50 third-party programs that work within the online video meeting service, including a number of games. It's basically called Zoom Apps. They claim it's a critical component of Zoom's transition from an app to a platform by enabling seamless integration of third-party apps within Zoom. Says Zeus Caravella, who's an analyst. That's a great name, dude. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Zoom apps provide users with access to their favorite entertainment, productivity, wellness, and lifestyle apps while maintaining the Zoom meeting experience. I hate everything about this description, but whatever.
Yep.
Can we play a game now?
Yeah, you can play.
You know what? I also have an announcement to make. I have also found a way to add gaming to Zoom meetings. It's called Alt Tab. It's a fantastic program that allows you to do all sorts of things while you're pretending to be on a meeting with a bunch of other people. Also works with Second Monitor.
My favorite TikTok right now is this dude that follow this channel, where this dude every day in his work meetings, he takes he has a wireless connection for his laptop, takes his laptop and its webcam out into the world somewhere and does something crazy while in his meetings. But the meeting people, they probably know now because he's super popular from this, but he'll go down like a water slide while in the Zoom meeting. So he'll be down to like his swimming trunks, his notebook, thing, and because Zoom has like the fake green screen background it tries to create, so it's kind of glitchy and not great anyway.
Oh, okay, this guy's just going, that's kind of funny.
He's doing like this as he's going down this pipe, but everyone in the meeting just sees him like jerking around with this like kind of weird background, and it's the funniest.
He stole that idea off Jeffrey Toobin.
Yeah, not too far from the truth. But somebody in the chat maybe find that guy, and I'll show a video here. It's so I don't know how to find him outside.
It does sound very funny, actually.
It's really great.
I hate. You know what? I don't know. I hate that. I hate it.
Let's hear it.
You wait.
I hate it.
Why do you hate it?
Just, let's say, I'm not going to go into detail because it involves work stuff, but, people use the fake background. I'm like, why?
Oh, you don't like the fake background.
It bugs me too. There's nothing more fake business cool. Like, we all know the person in an office that's like the quote unquote cool, like they think they're real big on technology business person. I saw a lot of my wife's business Zoom calls, and every time I saw somebody with their fake background where they're like, I'm at Disneyland, it made me so mad.
Oh, hi.
Yes, Scott's going through them right now.
Hey, you guys, I'm in space. Look at me in space. Look at me. I'm in space.
Like, I don't mind it in certain use cases. Like, if you're a streamer and you're putting up some sort of relevant background, that's great. It's the fake houses that bother me the most.
Oh yeah,
because people like it's that's okay. Like, I hate it too, but I can tolerate it. Yeah. It's when people are like, I want to be private, so I don't want to show my house, so I'm going to show a fake house. Like, they have these generic rooms, and I'm like, just show your house. Like, go out. I don't know. I hate it.
There's two things I'll allow. Right now, I'm at the beach. Apparently. There's two things I'll allow. One is
the tiger behind you.
the two things I'll allow that I like is this guy who, and by the way, that's how I look. So you guys imagine this guy with his notebook and he's on the water slide. And he's just doing like this, and he's water like flying over his face and stuff. It's amazing. You have to see him. So that's number one. Okay. I accept his place in this world. Number one. Number two, there's a guy who just runs a continuous loop of what looks like just a room he's in, and he's holding very still so he's not getting all the glitch. And it looks real. And the loop is him, but with a mustache and a hat on, fake mustache, opening the door as if not knowing someone's in there and then realizing someone's on a Zoom call and going, oh, and then shutting the door again. and does this on a
pretty
loop
good.
just constantly, and it's amazing. So those are the two ways you get.
Okay, creative stuff is fine. It's just there's nothing that says Boomer discovers technology more than like here's me at Disneyland, and it's just a still image of like the Magic Kingdom or something like that.
It's like still
it's
being
just,
impressed
there's
by.
nothing good about it.
I agree. It's like still being impressed by those wooden things where the whole of the head is cut out of a Disney character and you put your head in. It's like that.
Yeah.
Like I can't get a thrill out of
It's
that.
the kind of thing that I love my mom, but if she would call me up to be like, look at this, look at what I can do, very proud of herself, and I would just be like, yep, that's pretty cool, Mom. But it's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool at all.
It's not that cool.
I think people should. Oh my gosh,
Oh
what
my
did
God,
Bo
Bo.
just do?
What
Does
have
that
you
work?
done? What have
Look
you
at
done?
this.
Yeah. See.
Matt,
Now because
It
we're
looks like
talking
he's
I don't know how to
summoning
use it right.
himself.
because
I don't know
we're
how to use
talking
this
about
right.
this in kind of a meta way, is it okay then? Because we're
Yeah, it's
we're
fine.
referencing it.
It's
and-
fine if we do it.
Okay.
It's just not cool if anybody else does.
All right. What if
That's the rule.
I believe they call this the pinnacle of professionalism.
Is that what this is? Look what I'm about to do. I'm about to blow your minds. Hold on a second. Look at this.
Oh, you got John.
Whoa.
John's creeping
Yep.
up on you, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look
Watch
at this.
out.
Look at this. I'm in John's
watching.
lab, and he is having a
Yeah,
great
I'm
time.
happy. He's happy. He's not
Yay.
mad. Oh no!
Whee!
Now you're glitching through my head.
Whee! Oh, wait, that's
not
not
good.
right. We don't want that. Forget I did that. All right, let's go back to none. I think that's now permanently on the internet as a thing.
That's good.
All right, well,
Good.
there you have it. There's the news on Zoom. Oh, they have games is the point. And here are the games they have. You can play
Oh right.
Dopalo games, just say the word. Werewolf with Friends from Quicksave Interactive. Heads Up, which is that Ellen DeGeneres thing where you hold the phone on your head and they try to guess the
Oh
word.
yeah.
And some kind of charades thing. Let's see, another one called LGN Poker, so a poker game. So that's what that is.
Super awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Get on there.
Pretty great.
Get on there, everybody. Finally, EB Games to rebrand as GameStop in Canada. Oh, I thought they
That'll
did that
save
everywhere. Didn't they do that everywhere or no? Didn't that happen already? But what are you? Why are you in the crotch of Nash Magard?
Spoilers for the return
Spoilers.
of the Waste campaign. Bo's head pops out of the stump that is Nash Magard's crotch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Nash
good.
Magard returns with the head in his crotch.
yeah. It's a good.
It's
look.
actually an awesome idea, but I know it's not planned for real. But
What I don't
actually-
understand is
I feel like a Doctor Who character right now.
messing with all this has screwed up everyone's video, and I don't know why. It's
Oh,
not,
I'm sorry.
No, not
We did
in a horrible way, but just in a way. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, it shrunk
think you did a
everybody,
good job.
which is really odd. All right, EB Games. They're going to rebrand as GameStop in Canada. Finally, Bo, you can experience the wonder that is the Impact font in blue and or in, red and white or black or whatever it is, and go to a
Oh.
GameStop and reserve a magazine while you wait for your video game to come. How do you feel?
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Yeah, no, I'm
Would
nonplussed.
you
I
like
guess.
to pre-order Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah. If you do.
No, I mean I don't really ever go to EB Games, so it's not going to change much. But I thought it was news for Canada,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hey. Now when we speak, I'm not going to be like, I got this. We have GameStop, but it's called EB Games in Canada. You guys, like it was.
Oh yeah, you don't have to do
GameStop
that
and
anymore. Yeah. Well, we had EB Games too, and they all turned into these. So you're just going to have to go through the pain we did. That's all.
Oh, you guys used to have an EB Games?
Oh yeah, we had Babbage's, EB Games, and Software, etc. All of those got rolled in, bought out, or whatever, and became GameStops.
Yeah, I guess they didn't have enough money to do it until the whole, inflation on the stock market. And they're like, well, we got money to switch the name. Let's do it.
What was the one that was attached to a Hollywood video, John? Do you remember the name? What was that called? Game Crazy.
Babbage's-
Remember that?
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
So I think Game Crazy is one of the only ones that went away. They didn't get absorbed by the GameStop absorption, which got everybody else. So
I started at a Software, etc. That's where I work.
that's where I would buy all
great.
my stuff. I liked it there. It was great.
Yeah.
Now I don't go there. And I haven't
No,
bought a disc.
nobody does.
I haven't bought a
It
disc in like
was,
10 years, so it's just all
Yeah,
digital.
I don't want to hear about disk protection. Don't offer it to me. I don't need to hear about it.
The only disk I need to protect is a big fat SSD full of games. That's all I need.
Yep. Just don't.
Take that. All right, let's move on. Now, a special Dear Martha here. We're going to do a regular one, Steam review from John. But then right after that, we're going to read the Dear Martha of our winner of our Xbox Series S. Big thanks again to Tanner G, who will be mailing this directly to you once I get him the information. But giant congratulations to this dude. Hopefully he's in the States, because that's the only place we can ship these. We'll find out here in a minute, I guess, if I hear from him and he's not. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Before that, though, Dear Martha. Oh, Russian. Hold on. Do I have the right stuff for this? I just noticed your Russian thing. This is good. Some nice variety today. Okay.
What is Bo doing?
Yeah, Bo, what are you doing?
Ignore me. Sorry.
This thing Bo hates, he actually loves. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah, I hate it, but I'm going to mess with it for the rest of the night. All right, here it comes. Enjoy this edition of a Russian Dear Martha. Enjoy.
My dearest Martia, I get into the game, and I see my hands, and I ask, why are hands so tiny? I play through the game, and get my first gun. I see gun, and go, why is hand and gun so tiny? I approach big man with big hands in the woods. I shoot my tiny gun at him. He strangles me with his superior-sized hands. I am dead. Devs, please give player bigger hands. By the way, Martha, this was a review of Chernobylite. I forgot to mention that earlier. This is not part of the review. This is separate. This is a PS. Yours in this life and the next, the sex haver.
Wow. What? Wait. I'm sorry. What? The sex haver?
Wait,
The sex haver.
Wow.
is that in the rules? Are we allowed to give the Xbox to someone who has sex?
Oh no, this
This
isn't the
isn't
winner.
the Xbox winner.
Yeah, this is.
I got confused.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, this is the regular one, and then
This
we
is
got
what
I
happens
know,
when
I
you play
forgot
with
to say it
virtual
was a
backgrounds.
review.
Yeah, when your
Yeah.
virtual background's distracted you.
I
from
was
the rules.
distracted. See how
Yeah,
easily.
yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Welcome back to the show, Bo.
I'm
That's
a
pretty
professional.
good. All right, well done. That's awesome. Chernobylite, wasn't that one that's new, right? Because it's
Yeah, that's new.
yeah, it was a E3 thing. I meant to check that out. Is that the
Apparently
weird
it's a
one?
game where you have tiny hands.
Is it the weird one that's like super crazy and everyone was flipping out about the trailer or something? Or am I thinking of the wrong
Is there anything
thing?
with Stalker 2, maybe?
I don't remember. There was something that was kind of like Fallout, but it looked crazy, like Russian or Ukrainian Fallout. I don't
Not that
remember.
shooter game, right?
Oh, Atomic Heart. That's what that's called.
Yeah, Atomic
All right,
Heart.
never
Yeah.
mind. Wrong game. All right, now our winner. I need some winner music. Hold on. I don't have any. Well, you know what?
Swear.
We'll we'll do the Wii shopping music. All right. So here you go. We're going to give away the Xbox Series S to a big winner today. Big thanks to the 2,000 plus people that signed up to try to win this thing. I realized that the longer we let the contest go, the less likely we're each to have a good percentage of winning because more of you signed up to win. But 1 out of 2,200 or so people isn't too bad of an odd. So you might have a good chance here. But we know who the winner is. They were chosen completely at random. And we're going to not only tell you their name, but read their Dear Martha letter in John's cadence. So here goes. Our winner is Joe Parr, everybody. Joe Parr. Joe Parr. Yep, Parr with 2 R's. That's pretty awesome. He has won the Series S. And John, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and read this as if it was a Dear Martha for real in 3, 2, 1.
My dearest Martha, it's been a hard battle lately. The 2 boys have been commandeering my PC every day to play some sort of Minecrafting thing. I remember when we were young, you'd be lucky to have enough sticks and rocks to go around. Those days seem like so long ago. If only we had a system that these kids could use that was not my PC, then maybe, Martha, I might be able to write you more than once in many moons. I must be going now. I fear that I may be attacked by a pickaxe shortly. if I do not finish my letter and relinquish control to the approaching enemy. Yours in this life and the next. Oh God help, what is a creeper 69420?
Well done.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on
well
your
done.
new big white box.
Yeah, you
The
got your white
Xbox.
box, you got your hard drive and your controller and your whatnot, and I'm super stoked for you. So thank you, Joe, for submitting, and everyone for participating in the contest. When another one of these comes up, we will be sure to let you know, so you may walk away a winner. And I'll reach out to you, Joe. So if you hear this before you get the email, you know what's going on. I'll email you before, though. So actually, I want them to hear this first, though. How do I ensure that? You know what, Joe? Send me an email.
Clip that and email it to me.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. Why not that? If not now, then when? If not who, then him. All right, let's do it. Now, this. The games we played this week. You guys, I'm so excited to finally tell you about one of these. Okay? Because I was surprised by this. While the whole rest of the world is suddenly completely enamored with playing Final Fantasy instead of World of Warcraft, for various reasons. That was already starting to happen, and now we have even more reasons to go play that. You'd think I might have gone, I'll get back in then. You know, I'm sitting...
No.
Yeah.
You did exactly what I think, but continue.
I did exactly what John would expect me to do because I've shown myself to do this before. This is nothing new what I did, but I have this weird thing in me, and this happened. I like weird Asian MMOs. And usually it's just to experiment a little bit and just kind of see what's going on. And sometimes it's mobile, sometimes it's on a PC, sometimes it's console, whatever. I'm just interested in what Eastern games are doing because we don't see a lot of them over here. We see a lot of Japanese games, but, you know, other parts of Asia, we just haven't seen it. And development is kind of crazy right now in China and Korea and so on. And so I installed and tried an MMO that was a buy it one. It's a little bit like what they're going to do with Old World. You buy it, or New World rather. Sorry, I did that thing John does. Where you buy it for $39 and you just play it. There's no monthly subscription. It's just a game and you play it, an MMO. That game is Swords of Legends Online, or as the players call it, Solo, which is actually kind of appropriate.
It abbreviates nicely. I
Yeah.
still stand by that it is a video game name generator as all hell.
It's 100% that, and I won't lie to you that the name sounds like it was made from a generator. No question.
Wouldn't that be a funny lie, though? You're like, hey, I'm playing
I mean, it would
Weasel Bop. It's a great MMO.
be. Old Weasel
Totally
Bop.
not named Swords of Legend.
Well, this thing is called Swords of Legends. In China, I'm sure it has a much cooler name. Over there, this is based on a very, very popular bunch of Chinese mythology. Think of it as how we mess around with Greek stuff all the time here. Or,
Like
you
the
know,
Sun
Egyptian
King,
or whatever.
Sure. The Monkey King.
Yeah, they're really into this stuff. And also it's based, there's also a very popular TV series that's a spin-off of this somehow. I'm not quite sure the connection. But over there, this is just enormous. It was put out here just recently, and they had a beta for a while, and that ended, and now it's full-on game. I got in there and made a character, and I was expecting it to be terrible, but also there'd be moments of like, oh, this is a decent mechanic. I wonder why this hasn't been used by somebody else or whatever. I just kind of thought it'd be like it always is with these games. It's never a thing I stick with, or, you know, I'm going to tell everybody to drop their favorite MMO for, but I find this stuff sort of interesting. And what I found was delightful and really, I don't know, it surprised me. So here's the basics of it. I'll try not to make this take very long. It's nice for once to find a MMO out of somewhere in that part of Asia that isn't just a bunch of booby girls, because usually that's part of the course for these games. I'm almost always like very scantily clad women, and they just feel sexist as hell, and they're just kind of gross. This isn't that at all. In fact, everybody's really clothed a lot more than you'd ever expect out of a game like this, including Western ones. And the game itself, which is really what matters, I think it reminded me of why I loved Pandaria so much, because the music's amazing. This amazing, like, Chinese classical stuff. I don't know what to call it. Like, what would you call that kind of music? I don't know what to call it. But it's like, old, Chinese music.
Sure.
whatever, if there's a word for that. The aesthetics of it are all very cherry blossoms and beautiful mountains and amazing cliffs and all this sort of stuff. And so all of it just kind of vibes with kind of a Pandaria thing, which is why I think I loved that expansion so much when I was playing WoW back in the Pandaria days, because Pandaria is still my favorite experience in the game. And this captures that feeling with all of with everything. The whole aesthetic is definitely that kind of thing. So there's that. It's one thing to look good, all right? Then you got to ask, well, what's it like playing the game? The game plays like an MMO. It's a third-person over-the-shoulder thing. Your character runs around nicely animated, takes quests from people. They talk to you. You go off and do the thing. Here's where things get a little weird. The game itself features some of the worst VO localization I've ever heard in my entire life.
Click the button to get the menu open.
It's so bad. Not even that. Well, here, I'll give you an example. I have some of this.
I remember it from Dyson's Sphere program. It was pretty jarring.
It's a little like that, but I don't know, maybe worse.
Make the menu open by escape press.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's bad. Here's some. Here's a... Let's see. That's combat.
Angry and adopted a law which stipulated that anybody who spoke ill of the stranger's sword would be mercilessly executed.
So that
seems good.
Lady from Harry Potter.
It sounds
it's,
like it.
Moaning Myrtle.
A little bit.
Yeah.
There's a guy that sounds like...
That seemed good. That's way better than I was expecting anyways.
There's a guy that sounds like Stephen Colbert. Shoot.
Wait a minute. They got Moaning Myrtle and Stephen Colbert, and you're
Scott's like, the voice acting sucks.
You finally got to something I like about this game.
But it doesn't take... none of it sounds... Oh.
Is it the text? Like,
I should have prepared more of this.
Are they seriously reading bad translations? Is that the problem?
That's what it is. Just the localization's bad, and therefore the result is the stories don't make any freaking sense. I don't know what's going on in this game. It's beautiful. Okay. I know there's some cool action happening. There are moments of really high octane. Wow, what the heck did I just unleash in this world or whatever? I know that's happening, but I don't know what's happening because no one's explaining it very well. And sometimes it'll be a guy going, "Oh, hello and welcome to the great city of something something," and then you click to continue. Like he's talking in Chinese, and I'm like, "Oh no, wait a minute! You were just talking English a second ago," which means it didn't have the line, or they just didn't have time, or whatever. So that stuff's just kind of all over the place and a little bit shoddy, and it's a bummer because.
Do you think it'd be good in Chinese and just learn Chinese?
Oh yeah, I totally would. In fact, I wish it would let me have Chinese dialogue and English subtitles.
Oh, it doesn't?
Well, no, it doesn't.
Oh.
It's this weird mix.
I'm used to See, Yakuza has the option to have Japanese voice acting or English right in the game. I just thought it would be the same here.
Well, here's the guy. Check this out. Okay, I'm gonna play this. You can hear her talk to Stephen Colbert. Hold on, I'm gonna skip ahead here a little bit. Okay.
Greetings. I'm Hao Tsang, a Moist from the Valley of 100 Grasses.
You hear that? That guy. He sounds like him. It's not him, but he sounds like him. And he doesn't match his face at all. He looks like this really young guy who's like, "Hello, I'm Stephen Colbert. Welcome to my freaking planet."
I'd love if that were true. All those lines you just said were real.
Yeah.
But some of it is just nonsense, but it hasn't mattered. I've been skipping all the dialogue because I'll watch the cutscenes because they're kind of cool, even though sometimes they say dumb things like this tiger guy. Oh yeah, you got to hear this. So listen to this tiger guy. Okay. All right, here we go.
Everything here? Nothing missing. Hey, this armor is really strange. Just looking at it feels weird.
It's just that kind of stuff. Right? And he's a big tiger man with red eyes, and he's got, "Oh, look at this stuff. It feels weird." Like, it's just...
That should have been your opener for questionable voiceover.
Yeah, I probably should have. There's more of that than the other. And also, as I get further in the game, maybe they're going to update all this, but the further I get in the game, the more Chinese and English are mixed, or a guy doesn't talk at all, or his sentences get cut off a little bit because they didn't finish the way that they synced it or whatever. Like, there's a bunch of issues like that. The gameplay, though, moment to moment, is really fun. Probably, the closest comparison would be like Black Desert, because Black Desert is very motion focused, like a lot of really awesome fighting moves and, kind of coordinating how you do your combos and all of that. It's not your simple tab target kind of thing, and this is definitely not tab targeting
well, that
either.
sounds cool. I like
is.
that kind of a system.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm a guy with the staff that's basically who was the guy in I can't think of the character's name. The fighting game on the Dreamcast. What's wrong with me?
I didn't play that.
Soul Calibur. Guy with the staff that was like really good with the two-ended staff, kind of monk staff. Can't remember his name.
I don't know.
What was
Tedna.
his
It was
name?
Tedna for sure.
It wasn't Maxi. Was Maxi the nunchuck guy?
Yeah, Maxi was the nunchuck, and Soul Calibur's stick man was something else.
Stick guy.
But I picked a stick guy, and they're almost all sword-based things, although there's magic around it and stuff. But the combo system's really fun. The minute-to-minute gameplay is really fun. The upgrades are great.
Keelik. That's his
That's
name.
By the time you're done with this game, apparently the end game is awesome. Like, just a million things to do, bunch of players doing it, but you got to slog through this story that you can't understand because the localization's so bad.
It's like Final Fantasy, but
kind of, yeah.
Incomprehensible.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, you just said it. Like Final Fantasy, the difference here is the combat system's very different, obviously, and also the movement is crazy. There's like a sprint mode which you never run out of speed on. You get a flying mount in your second quest. And the flying mount is a sword. It's a sword you stand on, like a skateboard. It's awesome. And that thing.
Is that the swords?
That might be one of the swords of legends.
Swords of legends.
Yeah.
If I could fly around on a sword, I would. That should be a legend.
Yeah, it was pretty.
But maybe not if you get it at quest number 2. Maybe that makes it mundane.
I am going to give the game credit though for giving me cool shit early. That I got a horse right away. I didn't have to wait or grind it out. It just says, hey, here's a faster way to get around. Fly around on the sword and now go for it. The other thing I liked about it is you can see people who are higher up than me or that are at endgame. They got some wackadoo freaking crazy mount stuff in this game. The clothes are crazy. Just really ornate and interesting stuff. Graphically, it's really nice. How you get around is really nice. You have these double jumps and leap over walls and stuff like that. So there's a lot of kung fu kind of stuff going on. It surprised me. I'm surprised how much I enjoyed it. I think it's coming out at a very inopportune moment. This is a time where Final Fantasy is having a real heyday, and also New World rather is about to launch in less than a month or about a month, and that's a hard time for your weird, obscure, Asian MMO to come out in the States and have everybody pay attention. But
you know how popular it is in China, though? Because that's their primary market. It's a market like that foreign countries want to get in on.
It's big there. It's very big there.
Yeah.
I think another thing to keep in mind is, and I'm going to say this as much as possible because it feels like we're in a place where people just default to, not playing WoW anymore, got to go play Final Fantasy. I don't think those are the same game, and I don't think the conversion ratio or recommendation ratio would be 1-to-1. So it might be a good time because I think there's a lot of people that are like, all right, well, I want a MMO, I want a comfort game to play. I don't know. I don't know how into it people are going to be if they can't even finish localizing lines. That would be an immediate red flag to me if I was playing a video game and all of a sudden the language just changed for no reason. There's seemingly no reason. I go, well, I'm not going to play this game. If they can't even get all the lines recorded, I don't have faith that this game is going to be a home for me. But I think there are a lot of people, trying new things and seeing what's out there. And I wonder if it might actually do okay as a result of this kind of WoW exodus as people fan out and try other things.
People that like it really like it. If you read reviews and stuff, someone in the chat did find a dev note where they said, we've heard your feedback and implemented an option to switch between English and Chinese voiceovers. However, in the current beta version of the game or beta version of the feature, the toggle does not work correctly as of yet. We will fix this until release, and you'll be able to switch freely between the two voiceovers. So that's coming, and I would actually like that because it sounds like the Chinese voiceover is actually really good. I don't know what they're saying, but
so you're showing for audio listeners. Scott shows a bit of the video, a bit of the clip on our video version of it, and I'm seeing the combat. It actually looks like fun.
It is. It really is.
Like I'm definitely a convert since Black Desert Online of I don't need to do tab targeting in a game anymore. Like
me too, dude.
I'm like that's the only reason I like Black Desert Online. It's the one thing they nail how fun it is just to sit and do combos and beat up piles of mobs. It's actually a really appealing part of this game.
Yeah. I also found a guy, another player in the game the other day named Creamy Armpit. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Oh, I saw your video
Good.
about Creamy Armpit.
Good.
Yeah, that was Creamy Armpit.
What kind of cream do you suppose?
I'm thinking like cream of
Fromage?
chicken. No, like chicken.
Like chicken?
Yeah, like the soup. Like the base soup that comes out in a big solid piece, like a cylinder.
Yeah.
Is the cream applied or is it sweated out through the pores?
Oh, it's excreted through the pores. Yeah.
Okay.
I think people are going to be grateful for this.
Oh shoot, man! I'm seeing the jumps. Man, this game actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. It's very. I don't even know what to compare it to. I feel like
Why
I'm playing-
is there an MMO like this in we're the Western world, right? Is
that
anyone
someone
doing
made?
an MMO like this, please? Like
I mean, there's the non-tab targeting in ESO. There's other games that don't have tab targeting. But
New
ESO.
World isn't going to be doing it. This doesn't do
Oh,
tab
no?
targeting.
That's
But
true.
If
Yeah.
you're excited about jumping, New World isn't the game for you. Let me tell you, the jump in New World is real questionable.
Yeah.
It's accurate. It's accurate to how well I could jump.
right.
But
I mean, there's something to be said about. They can definitely Black Desert Online. You do unlock abilities as time goes on, but you do get a lot of the cool stuff pretty early. So there isn't much to work towards at end game.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I could see, that's probably the one drawback of this, but.
Well,
I don't know.
it is a close comparison, those two games, I think. At least my takeaway is that they're similar because of the fighting style and also just the no monthly fees and, all that. Like, they're kind of in the same boat. Really refined graphics, very, pretty and polished, but, nothing's... It's hard to... I don't know what to call it. It's kind of stylized, though. Like, it doesn't feel like they're trying to be ultra-realistic in this game. So it's a really fine line. They're I guess I'm just coming away way more positive than I thought I was going to get when I played it or when I opened it. And by the end, I actually am up to like level 30. I'm going to hit 50, and when I do, I'll try the end game and see if it's as good as everyone says it is. It's a bit of a shock. I thought I'd play 2-3 levels and go, okay, well that was weird. Now I have show content or whatever, and instead I ended up really enjoying it, including the cheese. The cheese is super cheesy, but sometimes cheese is okay. And again, there seems to be a reverence from the development of this thing. They're not just making Terra or, I don't know, another one. I can't think of anything right now. But, here's a bunch of naked characters you can be, and some of these girls look like they're maybe too young. And, all that creep factor that you get in a lot of those games, it's not here. Just don't have it. It's like they took that stuff seriously. They take the lore seriously. I may not understand it half the time, given the translation issues, but they made this is like a game. Like, this is a game, and it feels like it's probably a really good game natively, and could be even better if they polish some of that translation stuff. Because the game underneath is fun, and even just skipping through quests real fast and getting shit done, it just feels good. Like, I'm going up, numbers are going up, I'm leveling up. I got the bunch of items I didn't have before, and I don't know. It's kind of neat. They have a robust crafting system and a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, surprised. That's all I'm saying. Surprised.
Yeah.
By Swords of Legends Online or Solo. I started the very beginning of Skyward Sword on the Switch. My daughter gave it to me for my birthday. I didn't get very far, so not really much to say about that. I'll talk more when I play it more, I guess. But never played it when it was on the Wii, so this is my first time.
yeah, it's one of the only ones I haven't ever played as well.
Yeah. I think it's the only
That
Zelda.
and I also haven't played the one that everybody raves about on the Switch.
The
one where your weapon breaks.
Oh, you never
Like the
played?
one negative thing that I hate about it, and that's how I know the game.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, it's
The Zelda
considered the
game where your
greatest
weapon
Zelda game
breaks.
ever made, but that weapon breaking thing is it's like the biggest bruise
Breath of
on
the
it.
Wild, isn't it? Isn't that
Yeah, Breath of the
Yeah,
Wild.
that's
yeah.
it.
If that Breath of the Wild 2 thing gets rid of breaking weapons, and I'm not so sure they will, but if they did, I'd be pretty stoked about that.
Well, we played that game that was kind of trying to be like it, the Greek one.
Yeah.
Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I like that one.
Where your weapons don't break. You get to keep your weapons, and guess what? That game was super cool and a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I agree.
it can be done.
It can surely be done. All right. I also played a bunch of ESO because this game reminded me that there's already a really finished, polished game that I do understand. that I love already called ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. So I went and played a bunch of that, and I started a character that John would like, just for fun. I keep playing my main because he's like high level and doing cool stuff, but I started a Nightblade, which is basically, all things rogue.
Yeah, that's how you play an Elder Scrolls game.
That's right. And it's
you sneak, you stab, you shoot arrows.
You would love this guy because he's like backstabbing, doing stuff out of the shadows. There's a big smoke thing you can do and then pop out of it and cause tons of spike damage. And it's like totally your kind of character. But and I also made a Khajiit for the first time because I didn't used to respect the cat race, and now I really like him after a bunch of story stuff I saw in that game. So I'm going to play one of those.
Cool.
Alora for real. Listen, I know you don't like that game. You don't have to tell me every time I talk about it. I get it. You don't have to like every game I like, or me, or the other way around.
He doesn't like things we like. Get him.
Get him. Burn him. And then I preloaded Ascent. I haven't played it yet, but that's that Game Pass day one thing that came out today.
We can play it today, right? Like
it's out.
I think what I'm going to do after the show.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out after dinner, I think, because I just want to see what's up. People have been raving about it so far.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about it.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to try it. So that'll be what I do next. And whether or not that ESO Nightblade goes any further, I don't know. We'll see. But I kind of like him so far. He's fun. Does all kind of bleeds, and it's all actiony too. So you're doing a lot of like cool slices and weird little buffs that send knives around you, like a shield, but they're knives. That's pretty cool.
Look at that. What if you end up being a rogue, Scott? What if you just suddenly... I won't even know what to think if all of a sudden you become the stealth stabby guy.
It's almost like how you're going to tell me that you actually healed. You were like top healer in a raid.
Hey, don't spoil the game I get to talk about.
I know, but it's like that for you. It's like, whoa,
is
wait
like
a minute.
that.
What?
Like
John's healing? Scott's being a rogue? Like, it doesn't make sense anymore what's going on here.
It's all backwards.
Anyway, we'll talk about Ascent next week, and hopefully we'll all have good things to say about it. John, let's move to you. I heard you're gonna stream every Final Fantasy game ever made. Is this true? This rumor?
Yeah. Well, no, not every Final Fantasy game ever made, but so the Final Fantasy Pixel Perfect remasters, I guess you would call them. The first 3 of 6 that are being done have come out. So I technically played a little bit of Final Fantasy 1 because I just wanted to make sure it would load and everything would work. And it's really cool what they're doing with this because obviously when you take an old NES game and you play it on a big modern day monitor, there's some weird stretching. It doesn't look great. It's going to display in a weird ratio. And a lot of the ways we've tried to deal with that has been kind of bad and awful. And one of the things that they've done with the Final Fantasy franchise is they remastered the graphics by putting in artwork over the top of the sprites, which has been met with a lot of negative feedback, we'll say. And I think it's, art is always going to be a bit subjective. So what they have gone back and done is they have kind of HDified the pixels. So they are trying to keep it pixelated and keep it looking the way you think it should look while making it crisp and modern and running on modern displays.
Okay.
So as weird as that is to say, I think they've actually pulled it off. Now, a lot of people are mad about the font, and I get it. The font is jarring and it looks weird. It's fine. There's already mods to fix the font. But as far as the actual graphics look, it does a really good job of looking the way you think it should look, but also looking clean and good on a display in the modern day.
Okay.
And so, again, I haven't gotten too far into it because I, like you said, I am going to stream the Final Fantasies, but it's really neat. And I kind of feel like this is the work that I would want people to put in. If you're going to do a remaster or, a re-release of an old game that's from Pixel days, this is kind of more of what I want to see of it. Because this works really well from what I've seen so far. and I'm pretty excited about it. So, yes, I am going to. I've never beaten a Final Fantasy. I've said that on this show, despite loving the series and having played every single game in the series at least a little bit. I've never beaten it. So, the current goal is I'm going to stream, and with the eye on beating, I'm going to play Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 15.
Not
Whoa,
doing
whoa,
the.
whoa, whoa, whoa! You missed.
That's
some.
the goal.
What about 10?
What about 12-2?
Yeah, all that stuff.
And then there's
12
13-2
okay.
and 13-3.
10, whatever.
So
yeah.
here's the thing. I am not going to commit to 12-2 or any of the offshoot sequels initially, but if I get into it, maybe. Here's the problem. Everybody seems to love Final Fantasy X. I don't have fond memories of 10. I remember Tidus laughing like a little pain in the ass, and I hated it, and it was just not good. And I don't know if I want to go into 10-2 because I don't know if I'm going to care.
I think
enough
10-2 was
to
just
do
the
it.
girls.
It is. I'm not saying it's not. Tidus wasn't the only
Oh,
problem.
sorry.
He's just
Okay.
the problem
He's just an
that I
example.
remember.
Okay.
Right.
I was like, dude, we got you covered. No Teedus. Is it Teedus? Is it Tidus?
Tidus?
No.
Titus.
I believe it is
Tidus.
pronounced Tidus, but I would rather say Tidus if you
I
are going
mean,
to ask me.
Teedus is a little bit like Tidus too is another way you could say it, but I feel like Titus is the way to go. But
Tidus is way cooler. I believe it's pronounced Tidus, which is just a damn shame.
I mean,
honestly.
I
But
hate it now. You've ruined. I had fond memories of 10, and they're unfonder because of your pronunciation
They're
of that name. I'm like,
unfonder.
oh,
I'm not going to say I won't play 10-2 or 13-2 or 13-3 Lightning Returns, all of that. But
I
those
need
are
to play
definitely
those.
not my favorite Final Fantasy games, so I'm not going to commit to it early. I'm already committing to a lot of games. So
I did like 13, and one of my gamer regrets is not playing 13-2 or 13-3 because I dig Lightning.
13 had a cool looking protagonist than Lightning, although she had zero personality, which is okay. Final Fantasy notorious for main character having not a lot of personality. The problem I had with 13 is it contains perhaps the most annoying character I have ever seen in a video game in the history of video gaming.
They all do.
But this one's worse, Bo. This one is way
Riku?
worse.
Is it Riku, her name?
No, what's her name?
Vani?
Yes, Scott.
Yeah.
We should find a clip. How do you spell her
Vani?
name? FF13.
While you're looking
It's
that
French for vanilla. Vanille. I'm pretty sure it's Vani.
While you're looking that up, it is Titus. Titus Drautus. Not Tidus.
Titus Drautus.
Yeah, I don't know where you guys got Tidus. It's weird.
Where John got Teedus.
Oh, sorry. Throw you
Out of
under-
order, sir.
Throw you under
I've
the
heard
same bus.
Tidus.
Yeah.
I've heard Tidus.
All right, chat room. Some of you have said Tidus in the chat as well. I also found a guy on the internet named Teedus Deletus, and that made
Is
me
that
laugh.
is that what the Shakespeare play is called? Teedus and Andridicus?
You know,
Like,
Teedus Andridicus Deletus. I don't know.
it's Titus. I'm pretty sure it's Titus.
Yeah, I think it's Titus.
I think this is her. Play this clip.
Okay.
We'll see if this is
Where'd
the
you
person.
put
Yeah,
it?
that's her. That's Vani.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Hold on, I gotta click her out.
I
'cause-
thought
Vani
I
all
remembered her
moments?
looking different, but
all right.
Well, remember, there's 3 games.
Oh my gosh, what's she doing?
oh, it's just her saying "oh" a bunch. Okay.
Let's-
Well,
well,
glad
hold
I
on.
sent you that
There might be
video.
more. Let me see. Let's me play. All right. Streaming.
Oh, check this out.
Hey, Vanille, where are you?
We're gonna get pulled off Twitch.
Nah, it's fun. It's from a
This is a
video
video game. Where else would we stream this?
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
That's,
Yeah, she's annoying the hell out of me, so I don't know what that says. Is this why
Stay close.
people don't like her? It's because she's super obnoxious?
She's not doing that the whole time. This is a
No,
cut of
it's
her
her.
doing it all
It's
the time.
her talking. Honestly, it's like I don't care about this making weird sounds. Like, it's the things she has to say
Yeah.
are not
Me is
something
fine.
I enjoy.
She's fine. She's fine.
No,
This is
No.
Bo has high tolerance for this kind of anime talk.
I
think.
do. I do actually. I'm yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not bugged by it.
It is Tidus. Second confirmation.
Telling you,
this is...
I've heard Teedus 100 times. I would rather say Tidus, but I've heard it enough to believe that it's Teedus.
Like just look up like Titus Andronicus is a play. I think it's spelt the exact same way, right? It's a Shakespeare thing. Watch some actors on YouTube say,
yeah.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I was wrong about Boys to Men, so I don't know.
Yeah, they're all for one now. They're not even the same band. I was confused too. Don't feel bad. That confused the hell out of me.
But maybe I don't want to go hard on the paint on this whole. It's Titus, John. Even Shakespeare said so, and then be totally wrong.
That was the first Final Fantasy that was voice acted. Surely somebody called him by name at some point, right?
Entirely possible.
Like, I feel like this should be the easiest thing to resolve in the world.
Okay, hang on. You're right. Let me make this right by doing the research.
Like, that was the whole thing about 10, is finally it's all voice acted. So,
it's not Titus. It's tied with a D.
Yeah, Tidus.
So it's definitely not Teedus because it's a D.
I'm not saying Teedus. I'm saying Teedus.
You are saying
really?
Teedus?
That's real?
Okay, hold on. Can we
could
find
be
out
right.
how
Hang on,
Teedus...
I gotta find...
What's his full name? Just Teedus?
People are saying they
Tidus.
avoid saying it. Great. They made their own problem.
Yeah. All right, here's Teedus. Oh, that's him hanging out with her. Is that him? Okay, hold on. Yeah, him and Yuna or whatever. Yuna? Is that who we just watched? No, that's Vanille.
Well, there's Yuna's the leading lady.
All right, here's Teedus. Okay, I'm going to play this.
Hey, watch.
That's a girl.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Teedus, say
You
something.
got pretty good.
You sound sad.
He's a mopey guy, isn't he? All right, let me try that again.
Can't find anywhere where they say his name.
Oh, he is so grumpy. I don't like him at all. Yeah, maybe. I don't really feel like being here.
Well, his character develops, Scott. It's not.
Why aren't you watching the scene where they laugh? That's
what this says as they're laughing. Let's keep playing.
Want to scream?
I really don't think that's gonna help this time.
I'm grumpy. Leave me alone. I'm emo.
You know what?
Huh?
It's embarrassing to say this myself, but
myself.
summoners and their guardians are kind of like Spira's ray of light.
Okay, I'm gonna get to where they're laughing because none of this
Practice.
is
Hey, come on.
funny. Oh, he's trying not to smile and laugh.
This is weird.
Actually, there's a pronunciation
Next,
war.
try laughing out loud.
Why isn't this turning off?
Yeah,
Right.
I just found a 15-minute video exploring whether or not it's Teedus or Tidus.
Teedus or Titus, exploring the great Final Fantasy pronunciation war.
Hey, it's the same video.
Yeah,
Look at us.
the Final Fantasy Union. Somebody called Wilmer Hale or whatever that Blizzard has. We have a union on their hands.
Does it end with like a determination? Like that's all I need to know.
Of course
I don't
it
need
doesn't.
15 minutes of evidence. Here's where I come in. The whole thing is based around water, and Tidus sounds like the tide. That's the name it should be. It's not what I use because it's not what I heard, but Tidus makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Done.
All right.
Solved.
Tidus. That's who it is.
As a water-based character, Tide sounds like water. Also Bleach, but has nothing to do with this, and it should be Tidus.
It's also Bleach. Oh my lord.
Yeah, we don't call it Teed detergent. We call it Tide.
Yeah, we call it Tide.
Right.
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 But again, that's a modern product that may not have a bearing on a Japanese naming convention.
I'm embarrassed to say I'm going to watch all 15 minutes of this video at some point.
That is embarrassing.
Maybe somebody in the comments gives it away.
It's very embarrassing. But the point is,
8 minutes 54 is where he starts talking about the name.
John's going to play all these, and you thought the first one's pretty good so far is the main point here, right? It looks good. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch part of these streams. When are you doing these? Do you have a schedule for them, or what's the plan there?
No, it naturally came out at a really weird time, so right now things are a little shaky. I'm not going to be in town this weekend. Next week is going to be crazy busy. But my wife does have a new job that's going to let me stream a little bit more often, so
Nice.
soon. So probably the second week in August is where I'm looking at maybe starting some of that stuff.
Very nice indeed. All right. You also played Pokemon Unite. Oh, we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
I played a bunch of that too, and I forgot to write it down. That game's rad. What do you think of it?
The game is rad.
Yeah.
That game's super good.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. Like, it's not the most competitive thing in the world, and like deep down in the back of my mind, there is a part of me that's like, am I just crushing children right now? Like, just playing their Switch? Because I had my first match against regular people, and I was playing the tank role. I was playing as my slow bro.
Yeah.
And not only because they give awards out at the end, kind of Heroes of the Storm style, you get a little emblem based on what you did. I got MVP, and I got every award that they give out a notification to.
Wow.
Every single one of them was under my character. And I was like, did I just beat up a bunch of kids and feel proud of it? And then I realized I did feel proud of it, so I tweeted it out.
Yeah.
Because I was proud. But it's actually a lot of fun. And what I like about it is that it is, for short term, it is the Pokemon MOBA.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it is actually kind of in a genre of its own, because I sort of went in and started playing it like Heroes of the Storm, and I was like, I'm just going to kill the whole team. I'm just a team battle. And I realized I was actually working to the detriment of my party because I wasn't focusing on scoring points, which is actually key. And so this game where I did so great in, I almost lost it for the team because I didn't realize until I started getting capped for the little like dunking Pokeballs.
Right.
And I wasn't picking them up anymore, that like, oh, I need to actually go turn these in. And I did at the last minute start turning in a bunch and making multiple runs. And we, won by about 100, which is about how much I was carrying around on me. So it was kind of surprising to me that it is a MOBA. But even within the MOBA genre, the way you play it and the goals you achieve are very different than other
That's
MOBAs.
why it reminds me of... Everyone says it reminds them of Heroes, and I agree, but it reminds me in that way, not specifically Heroes. Like, there's nothing happening here where I'm like, oh, this plays just like Heroes. But what feels like Heroes to me is they've said, all right, the basic underpinnings, yes, this is a MOBA, but we're going to, we're basically going to do something very different objective-wise, and that's what they've done here, and it may be the same objective every time you play it, but... It's really fun, and getting rid of those balls is intense because it's like, oh my gosh, there's somebody guarding it. It's like a basketball kind of thing, and you got to go dunk those in there when no one's going to stop you or interrupt you. I don't have to manage mana. I really like that. Upgrading your character as you go along is really kind of cool because it's also literally you evolving your Pokemon and not just skills. And they go together, and there's like options on which way you want to go depending on kind of the makeup of your team, a little bit the way Heroes does with its character upgrades every few levels or whatever. It's just a rad time. I wish this was on PC because I'd probably play it more there than I think I don't know. Actually, if my Switch wasn't if it was a real, like a full-blown Switch with like, TV, I'd probably play this on there. Because I think the controller stuff's great. It's actually, super intuitive.
Can you play with friends on? Can you queue up as a team?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I played a game with my wife because she heard about us talking about it on the show, and she went and got it, and it's been kind of her big thing when she's out there watching baby, and so we teamed up and played another match together, and it was actually hard to figure out how to do, harder than it should have been, but we managed to get in and play together, and beyond difficulty on how to make the lobby work between her and myself.
Right.
And this is free to play, right?
Well. Totally free to play.
Yep.
Yeah. Doesn't cost
I'm
you
feeling such big FOMO from this little phenomenon because there's a lot of noobs to go pwn in this thing, and I kind of want to. And I have, we get the Heroes team together and we just absolutely ravage all these Pokemon players.
I was watching Kyle playing. Kyle was wrecking people.
I'm good at MOBAs. I'm going to destroy dreams in this game, I feel like.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Yeah.
We should do that. We should all... Well, you need a Switch, though, to do this. Well, you know what?
That's the thing. I might have to buy a Switch just to play this dumb game.
It's coming to mobile next month. I don't know what that means in terms of control.
I've got an iPhone 6. It'll be like 2 FPS on it, I think.
It might work. You never know.
You never know, but yeah.
I don't even know if.
I still want to play Metroid Dread, and there's reasons to pick it up. This is just
right.
It's important now. Kyle's doing a pod. I want it on Kyle's team.
Yeah.
I want to join Kyle and I want all of us to play and just shatter other teams. They'd be like, "Oh my god, I never knew people could be so good at all these non-MOBA players finally playing Pokemons because they like Pokemon games.
Yeah.
It's kind of like playing against AI in Heroes, except it's other people and they're sad.
Yeah, exactly. It's the sadness that tastes delicious,
I also
Sorry
have
to
not
be
lost
like
a
that,
game
but-
for the same reason, and I end up being MVP almost every game. And again, it's because if you go into this with just some of those basic things, and kids are just playing their Pokemon game, you really are wrecking them. Like, there's no way around it. It's fun though, real fun. It's a neat little game, and it's really polished.
Oh my god! So if I buy a Switch, you guys are gonna play with me, right?
Oh hell yeah, I'll play this.
Yeah.
I can do this from my bed. That's the best part. I don't have to do anything special.
Sorry, did you say you're gonna shit your bed?
I'm gonna shit my bed. No, I'm gonna play from my bed. I'll be in bed when I play.
It's just the audio cut out for me for a second.
I'm gonna shit my bed.
I'm gonna shit my bed. That's how happy
Bo,
I'm
listen,
gonna be.
Bo, if you play this game, I'm gonna shit my bed.
Finally.
Finally.
All right, I'm buying a Switch as soon as possible.
All right. Yeah, that's the hot thing right now. Everyone's loving it. All right, John, I didn't want to scoop you on this, but tell me about your healing and all that business, because, jeez.
Yeah, because of course I'm still playing Final Fantasy 14. Naturally, I was into it before it was cool, and I started
true.
over. I started a new character because I'm crazy like that, and I've been going through trying aspects of the game that I skipped or maybe didn't pay attention to because I was just in a race to see the story the first go. So I been doing some of the crafting, which has been kind of neat. I actually really like how that works. It feels a little more like you've committed to a role when you're crafting rather than it's just something you kind of do while you're out adventuring. But the big news is I have a long history with MMOs, and there's a thing that I have never done in any MMO that I have ever played, including one where I technically was a healer class and just refused to do that role because damage is where my heart was. So for the first time ever, I've been healing in an MMO. And I've actually, I made a conjurer because I was just like, I was in Gridania and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's pick up a conjurer. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I've never done this before. Let me go heal my first dungeon. And it went really well, and nobody died, and I felt like I did my role well, and I got a lot of XP. That's the other little secret that Final Fantasy will get you with, is especially if you have a job that's lower than your main, you get bonus XP, so then dungeons also award a lot of XP. I was like, wow, I leveled up really quick. Maybe I'll try that again. So I went in, and I told everybody, I said, hey, just so everybody knows, I'm a very new healer. This is only my second dungeon. I'll do my best, because that's what you do in Final Fantasy. You let people know.
Right.
And I had a super fun experience. First of all, the best thing that could happen to get me excited about the role happened, which was somebody said, I don't believe that you're a new healer. You're doing too good of a job. So I got a compliment, and already now I'm thinking like, well, I'm an ace healer. Clearly, because I've done it twice now and I got a compliment, so I'm the best. That was thing number one, but then it was also kind of a funny story too, because the tank basically told us, he's like, I'm going to overpull this next room, just be ready. And he did, and he went ham, and we all wiped. We got killed from it because he went way too crazy, and even being too good of a healer, I couldn't keep up with it. So I came back, and 3 of us had rezzed, and one of them was still dead on the floor. So I raised him, and the tank goes, hey, don't raise him. He needs to walk back. And I thought he was being mean, and then he goes, no, this is my cousin. He's young. He's new to MMOs, and he needs to learn some etiquette. And then he sends a message to him, and he goes, when you die, you don't wait for the healer to run back. You run back with everybody else. Do you understand?
Wow,
And it
look
was
at
this
this.
really kind of neat teaching moment of this tank teaching this DPS how to run this dungeon in real time. And it was really sweet. Got to the end boss, and they were like, now make sure you give somebody a commendation, and, telling them how to do it. And it was
That's
it was
actually
just
pretty
this
great
really
to hear.
sweet moment.
Yeah, I like that. I would love to have seen that in person. That's very good. So so you're a healer forever. You're just, now you love it, and,
I definitely like doing dungeons with it. Now, I still get anxious about it because, for the first couple dungeons, it's not like there's a lot. I mean, most of the fights are tank and spank. You don't have a lot of ancillary damage happening to other people. There's not a lot of ads. You don't have a lot you have to dodge as the healer. You can kind of just stand there and DPS and heal at the same time. But now I'm starting to get the dungeons unlocked where there is a little bit more tricks to it. So I still get that anxiety about it. Like my comfort zone is still, well, let me go in as DPS and I'll feel okay. But I'm enjoying it, and like it's what I break out when it's dungeon time, because one, instant queue is great, and two, you get a ton of XP, and it's just a very different feel to be healing. So I'm really liking it, and kudos to Final Fantasy for making a game that finally got me to do it, because I had been avoiding it for forever.
It turns out the impossible is indeed possible after all this time.
Yeah.
Well done. All right, Bo, over to you. Disco Elysium, still the greatest game you've ever played, based on last week?
Yeah, still in the middle of my run. I'm on to day 2, but I find I've been playing in the evenings, but it's really hard to settle in and play that game for 2 hours. So I played a bit on the weekend, and I'm going to play some more this weekend, probably stream it. Yeah, I haven't actually played that much games overall this week because I decided to try running.
Oh, how'd that go?
Well, it was okay for a while.
The realist game.
Yeah, the realist game.
I walk home. I do about an hour of walking every day, and on the weekends I might do some more, just doing groceries and stuff like that. So I decided that it's just funny because it really screwed my gaming time up. That's how this relates, because I haven't really run in like 7 years or something. It's been a long time. Like I'm like, okay, I got to get back into shape, and so I'm doing these intervals of like, it's nothing. It's like 10 seconds. I'm doing 5 10-second intervals, 5 20-second intervals. And mainly the reason I have to stop is just my shins hurt because I'm a big guy. And I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel good. Anyways, I had these weird numb feelings in my legs that kind of drove me crazy. And I couldn't sit down because my legs hurt. They're recovering from, going like, oh my God, you're running? What the hell is, we have to make muscles quick. It's just been an awful week, kind of. Pretty sure that's it. I'm going to check with my doctor tomorrow. Fine today. Anyways, it's kind of screwed my gaming time, so I didn't actually play that much this past week. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like you said last week, that game needs like a certain level of brain focus, because it's just so much.
It's just any game, yeah. Like if I'm sitting down and my legs are driving me nuts, like it feels like a sunburn. It feels a little weird. It doesn't feel like muscles hurting, but I'm pretty sure it's what it is. So I'm gonna check with my doctor tomorrow. But
maybe you got sunburn. Maybe you got a little, a little sun.
Oh no, I'm brown as all hell. I'm like outside every day, and I'm the kind of person that doesn't wear sunscreen. Like I don't burn. I just turn brown.
Oh, you're lucky. That's the polar opposite of me, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. Most people I know are like, "Don't spend too much time in the sun." I'm like, "What?"
I went swimming the other day, and I really felt like a nightmare there. I got all shirtless and went, "No one wants to see this. Nobody here wanted to see this today."
Well, no one wants to see mine either, but
And then I had to rub myself down with a SPF 70, and so I look like that picture of Mark Zuckerberg on the beach with his face all white. I just looked horrible. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
so not much in the way of gaming, but I will say I have given Yakuza Like a Dragon a second chance. As it's my pick up and play for 30 minutes to an hour, or like I'll watch an episode of something and then switch to Like a Dragon for 30 minutes, then swap back to the show I was watching. That game is kind of awesome. I gotta say, cool.
It's cool.
I got to a point where you're down on your luck. You've been in jail for 18 years. You're like 40 and you don't know what a smartphone is. And you're with this old guy, like you're basically homeless, and like your big goal in life is to like try and do anything for any kind of money. So like there's these mechanics where you have to look for change underneath vending machines, and there's a mini game where like you're on a tricycle and you have to pick up empties, and you just loading empties up into your back, and you have to beat other people. They actually refer to them as hobos, picking up cans and stuff like that. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's really touching because at one moment you finally get a place to stay, and you and this other guy, this doctor who helped you out because he got shot, blah 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 blah. He's like, man, I think the Yakuza life is like not working out for you, dude. Like he's like not like the other Yakuza games. You're like a badass, but you are just like the biggest dumbass, right? And you're not. This guy's not cut out for Yakuza. You're loyal and kind and nice. Like you have no business being a Yakuza. And he's like, when you were a kid, what did you dream to be? And he's like, you know what? I just wanted to be a hero and help people. And he's like, well, let's go out and help people tomorrow. And he's like, we're going to do it like in Dragon Quest, right? First, we got to grind the low-level mobs. And the low-level mobs are like other homeless people. like you go out, and I've gotten to a point now where when you fight the homeless men or the scandalous men, your main character's imagination turns them into these crazy costumes. I don't know if you got that far, John, but like,
no, I didn't. That's amazing.
And you're like, at one point in the battle, like, you guys see that? They changed outfits, and the other guys are like, what? And you're like, oh my god, look at the crazy outfits. And then there's this baseball bat that's in a part of the ground, and the other two guys can't get it out, but your guy Ichiban gets it out, and he's like, I'm like King Arthur. Ah! And he's just like, he's a 40-year-old man-child, and it's becoming the greatest thing because he's not like a serious, I gotta get back in the Yakuza. He's just like, I'm gonna help people like Dragon Quest, and it's just it's definitely winning me over on that front. And yeah, so
it's a goofy game.
Yeah, and it's a nice thing. Like your first gig is helping a brothel out, and then the enemies are people protesting prostitution. And you're like, back off, we can do what we want, and you're fighting picketers against prostitution. Is like, it's still morally ambiguous, this franchise, but hey, it's anyways, I'm starting to dig it. At least it hasn't been really pervy at all. So the other Yakuza was like, if I gotta start collecting trading cards of bikini clad women, I don't know, but
some of the Yakuzas do get weird and pervy. For whatever reason, this one doesn't strike me as that yet. I mean, it's a little insensitive to homeless people and a few other things like that.
It's still bad, but like I watch South Park, I'm like, I'm not that, I'm okay with some.
Right. I also played the South Park RPG.
Oh yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay
not
with
precious about it.
I'm okay with shocking humor and inappropriate, edgy stuff. Like that's okay. I just feel gross when it becomes like in Yakuza 0. There's a mini game where you call girls up and say the right things to them.
Yeah.
In order to go on dates, and the idea is, they sound like one thing on the phone, but then, she's too old, and you're like, oh no, I have to have sex with you, Or it's like, they're too not hot or something, and I'm like, this mini game's kind of gross, So, and then if they're hot, then it's like a win, and you get a thing, and I'm just like, okay, like that's not my favorite thing in the world, but this doesn't seem to have that so far.
Well, there you go. Hey, by the way, did you see we were in like the top 20 podcasts this week in gaming? That's pretty good.
Yeah, people like us.
Yeah,
nice.
Yes.
Well, welcome all the new listeners who've come in to join us. It's been wonderful having you.
Yeah,
here.
we were right up there with Kyle's new Unite thing, and then what was the other? Oh, the instance was up there again. Like the
being close to the instance is a big deal. That your instance has been like top dog for as long as I've been.
There were some years back in the
Damn
heyday.
institution, the instances.
Back in the heyday, like let's say 2009 through 2014, before the game itself started to sort of slip, we were like number 1 through 5 every week. So that's changed, but that's because the game changed. I mean, not everyone's going to hang around. And now we've changed entirely. If you want to hear, by the way, if you want to hear John sell you on playing Final Fantasy, if you don't hear it enough here, he went hard to the paint 2 weeks ago on the instance. Not 2 weeks ago, 2 episodes ago, last week. You should probably go listen to that. He guessed it well.
I still feel like I went too hard on it. The problem is that like the floodgates of wanting to talk about Final Fantasy are real, and as soon as those doors are permitted to be opened, it all comes bursting out at once, and it's like, okay, I only have to tell you about 700 things that I'm excited about, and we'll all be good. And as a result, everything gets jumbled, things get forgotten, and I sound like a little kid at Christmas. But that's a testament to how I feel about the game.
That's some really great passion on display, and I love that. Like as much fun as we have with the whole dragon beef and everything. Like your time in Final Fantasy has has, for me anyway, proven that it's possible for another game to capture somebody in a way that, maybe WoW was the only thing that could really capture you like that before.
I mean, it's the franchise has captured him. He is going to play all the Final Fantasies.
Yeah. Like that's hardcore.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a lot of hours. It's a lot of commitment. That's like, you're in a genre. Back when websites were new, Final Fantasy fan websites were definitely like a genre of website for people who liked it.
I remember
You'll
those
be
days.
Among those now.
Yeah.
Hardcore players.
Among the greats, John. You can put it all up on YouTube and you'll be searchable forever and we'll all remember your name and say it with hallowed tone.
That's that guy that played through all the Final Fantasies. They say he'd never beaten one before.
Oh, the 2020s. You remember those days?
Now he's beaten a few of them. He's
our hero.
I don't know how it's gonna go. I might burn out on one, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
The closest I ever got to beating one was Final Fantasy III, which came out on the Nintendo DS. The real Final Fantasy III, not NES Final Fantasy III.
That was an actual conversion, right? Or an actual version of that exact game on that device?
No, that was a remake.
Oh, it was?
It was all in 3D and polygons and all of that. So in a weird sort of way, this one might be... I'm sure they put it out at some point in a more pixel form. But yeah, like it was actually pretty hard to play Final Fantasy III. But I nearly beat it. And then I was on because Final Fantasy is notorious for having a boss rush right before you beat the game, where it's like, oh, you fight a boss, fight a boss, beat the game. Yeah. And I was at the boss rush, so I was at the end of the game, and somebody sent me a tip on how to like overpower your team by turning them all into onion knights. And there was like a trick that you had to do. And I was just like going through and I was doing this trick to turn my characters into onion knights. And I accidentally erased my save.
Oh.
Yeah, it was an irreparable, like, it wasn't even a case of something weird happened. It was like, oh, I just erased my save because I wasn't thinking. So that's the closest I've ever been to beating it, or beating a Final Fantasy. And I think 8 or 9 is probably the second closest, but never done it until now. So I saw somebody say I beat Chrono Trigger. I 100% beat Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, but I don't count those as Final Fantasies.
No, you can count them as Square games, but you can't count them as Final Fantasies. No.
Same with Secret of Mana. I beat that, but not a Final Fantasy.
Right.
I finished a few of them. 1, 2, 3. US 1, 2, 3.
I've finished none of them, so
7.
There's me.
8.
I used to not like JRPGs back in the day. I thought they were dumb. I didn't like, but that was back when I didn't like turn-based combat of any kind, and that was when I thought real-time strategy and real-time tactical stuff was the future, and that's all it would ever be. And I totally looked down my nose at turn-based anything, and now I've completely flipped. I am way the other way now, and I think I'm embarrassed. I was an embarrassing person then. I was not a serious person. I was lame.
I mean, the Final Fantasy implementation is arguably not the best implementation of turn-based, right? It's like very menu, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they were early.
It's not going to be the most exciting stream to watch in the whole wide world. We'll say that.
No, that's true. But there would have been a time in my life where, if let's say, XCOM 2, Freedom of the Monkey People. What's it called? What's the full name? XCOM 2, the
enemy
of the state.
Enemy on
weekend enemy.
Enemy unknown, maybe the X-Pac.
Whatever it is.
Enemy abroad.
Whatever that is. If that game would have come out when I was like 25, I would have said, no, forget it.
Yeah.
Turn-based is for weirdos. No thanks. Now I'm completely flipped over on that. Just complete flip for me. I don't know if I matured into it or other people matured out of it. I don't know, but I would love them now.
I think it's just knowing how to find the fun. I think sometimes if you got to learn how to appreciate some games, especially if, it'd be hard for me to play a FIFA game right now. So I'd be like, oh, this is boring. But I bet you there's a fun to be had,
Yeah, FIFA's pretty good. I also like hockey games, and a lot of people don't like those. I like football games. People don't like those. I mean, I think there's just a... Actually,
Minecraft's a good example. Minecraft just always looks so boring to me. But a lot of people find it fun, so there must be,
That's a good example, though. I don't rush to play that either. But I've played, I don't know, things about it that I like. I don't know.
I want to interject a little bit with this Teedus conversation.
Teedus, let's get back to Teedus.
While you guys were covering some stuff, I did closed caption the video and then turned on the listen. So the Japanese name for it is Tidak. And I think the T has something to do with the sun, or it means an actual word. So the localization was to Teedus for some reason.
Oh.
So forget correct pronunciation if you look at it and say, like, oh, tide. It's, I think, intended to be Teedus.
So it is intended to be Teedus, and John was right the whole time?
The thing is, you can rename the characters. That's why they never use the name in the game. Because it's the last Final Fantasy where you could change the name of the main character. Like, you could call Cloud Scott. You know, we could change it to Scott because you were the Scott character.
I didn't know that. In 7, you could rename the characters?
Yeah, in the original 7. In Remake, you can't because there's voice acting now and it's just Cloud.
Right.
And it's okay to do that. But that was a long-held Final Fantasy tradition to rename all the characters. You could rename Barrett and Tifa and all that. Yeah. So in Final Fantasy X, I think the only character you could rename, I think, was Teedus. And that's why there's an argument about it, because they never actually say his name, because he could have been Scott or Gerp or, you know, Chud Pounder 224969 or whatever.
Chud Pounder.
And,
that's a great name, Chud Pounder.
Yeah, they just write themselves, right? Sperm tornado. You know, like.
No. No, I thought about it too much.
Wait, you said sperm tornado? Did I hear
sperm tornado, yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
I mean, I was thinking about that earlier this week in relation to the Blizzard stuff. It's a long story, but if you ever want to ask me about it. Anyways.
About sperm tornado.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a theory I'm working on. So I haven't finished writing the paper yet, so it's kind of weird to just let that part out. But I'm just explaining where the thought came from, because I've been thinking about sperm tornadoes all week. But
wow.
Anyway.
All right. That's fantastic. I will ask later. Don't count on that.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to, but now I might, because we have gotten here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Now that we're here.
Anyway, so you could rename. I forgot. Lost the point. Anyways, that's that's part of why I'm writing a paper on it. It's just the power of those two words is amazing.
Wow, you're writing a paper. I just think that's cool. It's like you're doing.
I'm not really writing a paper.
You're not really writing a paper.
But it is a theorem. I am working on some sort of a stupid weirdo theorem.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I want to hear how this goes. All right.
Anyway, it's Teedus. So
Teedus.
I want John to feel validated, because we kind of badgered him that he was wrong. And
John,
it turns out
just know, John, we hear you, and your Teedus is now no longer Tidus. Tidus is dead. Long live Teedus.
I mean, look, I was in a good position because I was going to win either way. I would have been right with my going off of what I've always heard, or I was going to be wrong, and then I got to call him by the name I would rather call him, because
Right.
Tidus is way cooler.
You would prefer
you know,
Tidus. Wouldn't we all, though? We all prefer Tidus in the end. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, email.
That's a good question.
We got an email. This came to us at our email address, which is super easy to remember and to plug into your email app of choice. It's talktothecore@gmail.com. Again, talktothecore. It's like a little sentence there. At gmail.com. Talktothecore@gmail.com. Here's the email from Matt T in the UK, who says, "Hello there, core people. I wanted to ask if you've ever played a game but thought the music/score was not for you or didn't work. I recently bought Doom Eternal." Hold on, Bo. Calm down. Don't worry. We'll get there.
The sperm tornado.
Yeah, sperm tornado coming in. Weather update. We got a sperm tornado coming in from the north. I recently bought Doom Eternal, and I am loving the 4K 60 FPS and the ray tracing of my shiny new PS5, along with the exciting fast-paced gameplay and great game systems. But I really can't stand the heavy metal music that accompanies it, so I decided I would play my own Spotify list of more suitable musics and scores that is more to my taste. My playlist included Blade Runner 2049's score, which is awesome, by the way, and its dark industrial themes and many other dark ambient songs. This gave the game a much more sinister and edgier feel and really made the game more dark and immersive and less ear-bleeding, in my opinion. Are there any games that you guys have really been into but the music didn't do it for you? And if so, what alternate would you like to see in its place? Thanks for doing the things you do. Love the show and all things Frog Pants. Yours in life and the next, Matt T. from the UK. Well, Matt. So I was thinking about this. Yeah, I mean, music's a big deal. I've been playing a little of Death's Door, which is this, I talked about it last week a little bit. It's a brand new Devolver Digital game where there's a penguin with a sword, and it's great so far. It's made by the Titan Souls people, and it's a bit of a Souls-like, bit of a Zelda-like, a little bit of a, I don't know, puzzly sort of top-down Diablo kind of thing going on. Not loot really though, but it's got a lot of neat things going for it. And it's a really cool game, and I think the animation, the art style, the direction, and the gameplay are incredible. I think the music is really bad for some reason. It doesn't work for me at all in that game, and so I turned the music off. This is a sharp contrast to that Swords of Legends online game, where I was so pleasantly surprised by how much the music elevates the material. It's really beautiful and amazing music in that game. And that was unexpected. So I've had both experiences where a game where the music's probably fine, but it doesn't work for me. For example, I think Doom Eternal and the Doom 2016 soundtracks are awesome. I love the mix of like techno and metal and industrial. It's all good to me. But it sounds like you didn't find that there. So anyway, what do you guys, what comes to mind, Bo, when you're thinking of music that just didn't do it for you?
I don't know. I don't turn off music very much. It would only be in games where I've heard the music a lot. But I'm usually listening to a podcast while I'm playing games in a lot of those scenarios, and I keep the music on anyways. You know, 'cause I can listen to the music and hear the podcast. Yeah, I mean, there's few songs that are catchier and that I hate more than the Gold Saucer music.
Gold Saucer,
not the gold,
Yeah.
but not from Final Fantasy 14 Online, although it's there. But when I played the original Final Fantasy 7, there's a whole zone that you level up. You'll spend hours in there, and it's a short MIDI file that's on loop, and it's just like, good God, kill me. It is the absolute. It's fine for a little bit, but when you realize you're gonna have to listen to it for 10 hours, you're just like, ooh, it's.
Yeah, I don't love the Final Fantasy 14 soundtrack. Period. Like, it's not my favorite thing. There's some cool stuff in there. I find it kind of repetitive and irritating, though, for the most part. I think Elder Scrolls Online is beautiful, amazing music, and should be listened to whether you play the game or not. Just go get it on Spotify.
That's it. We're throwing out the Dragon Beef. Here's one I can win. Like, Dragon Beef, maybe not going to win because Dragons in Final Fantasy didn't look that good. Yeah. But here's one where you're crazy. The Final Fantasy soundtrack.
Well, here's the problem, though. Like,
vastly better than the Elder Scrolls.
See, I completely disagree with this. And this to me illustrates something. This is 100% a taste thing. I like orchestrated Western style. When I say Western, I mean Western European style fantasy music is my jam. I love it. I get carried away in it. All the Elder Scrolls soundtracks from all the way back, like all of it. I'm not talking just ESO, talking, Skyrim, all of it. It's amazing, amazing music that just takes me places. Final Fantasy is a lot of ding, 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 ding,
Well, that stuff's all good.
It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. It just doesn't do it for me the way it does it for John. And so I'm 100% cool with John having it do it for him the way Elder Scrolls or many other games do it for me.
Right.
It's just not my. It's not my style. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't like it.
It's okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna pull the you haven't played enough of the game card.
Yes, 30 plus levels were not enough to tell if I like that music or not. I mean, is the music getting markedly better or not?
Well, here's the thing. I think it's. I don't fault anybody for saying that, like, oh, I don't like this track, I don't like this track, or I don't like the inconsistency. But I think Final Fantasy has, like, you can literally hear almost every style of music in that soundtrack. Like, they cover everything. Like, that's one of the things I love about the soundtrack is that you'll be in one place and it'll be a hard heavy metal, rock song, and then you'll go to another place and it'll be techno, and then you'll go to another place and it'll be classical, and you'll do a boss fight and it'll be this operatic song. Like, it's all over the place. It's not just one genre. And I think that's to what gets say me. Like, oh, well, I played a little bit of A Realm Reborn and then I boosted to Heaven's Ward and I played a zone. Like, No, I don't think you've gotten a proper sampling of the soundtrack.
I played a ton more than that, and I think that I'm not saying it's bad. I think you just described it. It's the inconsistency, or as you would say, the variety. It is a big variety. I'll walk into a place and go, "Why does this sound like a casino?" And I'll walk next door, and it'll be like, "Oh, this is more like my jam," because there is one. But I know what you're saying, and I'm not saying diversity in your music is bad. I like thematic, consistent, tonal stuff, and for whatever reason, to me it'd be like if Lord of the Rings didn't have the themes it has, and instead they went with work around the corner and it's like doot 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 doot, and suddenly it's a bar in Star Wars. It would just throw me, and this game does that. It goes all over the place, and it's okay. It's totally fine that they do.
I'll be honest, I've played very few games that have bad soundtracks. Like I'm sort of going through my list though. Like overall, I know there's a specific Final Fantasy taste thing going on, but like I'm just going through the list and I'm like, I love video game music. Like I'm a appreciator of music, and while I might listen to something while I play it, I never turn it. Like there's never, except that one Gold Saucer example. Like I don't really turn on unless it's already like a shite video game. Like if you're playing something that is clearly an indie game and clearly not a lot of effort went into the game, but like it just hasn't come up. I even Black Desert Online has pretty great music. Like, yeah, I kind of think the Yakuza Like a Dragon music's a little shite actually, but I haven't turned it off. Like, some of it's actually pretty, if I really think about it, but I haven't turned that off either. It's the music's part of the experience, and this is where I want to say to the writer, if you really want to turn off the music and listen to something else, that's great, but you're supposed to feel anxious and shitty with the Doom music. I really think it's a bad idea to turn off the music. That the anxiety-laden experience really adds an element, especially in modern game design where music crescendos with action, right? So the music will get low and foreboding, and then when enemies appear, it's like, and then it's done, and it's just well, they do it in Hades too. I really think the music side, especially in modern games, is so integrated with the experience that unless it's shovelware, you should listen to
I tend to agree. Here's the thing. Even though I like the Doom soundtracks, I think that the music in Proteus is better. So there's an example of, and it's similar. It's also got some.
They're both good.
They're both kind of cut from the same cloth. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're going to have a variation of like for one over the other depending on your taste. I will say this: having played the New World beta a little, not a lot, because I didn't want to overstay my play until that thing comes out, and enjoying the jump animations that John loves so much. They're terrible. I'm with John. It's bad.
It's so lame.
There's no jumping beef
so
here.
bad.
It's bad. It's a terrible jump, and they need to fix it.
No, we 100% agree. It's
was a jumping.
It's like they mocapped me jumping in my own house. It's just not.
It's really, really bad. But I will say that game has amazing music so far. I'm going to play just a taste of it.
Really? Yeah. I thought you were going to give it as a bad example.
No, it's very good. Listen to this. But it's right along what I love about ESO, so it may not work for you. I don't know.
I think my biggest problem is I don't notice it. And I don't... Maybe this is where we differ a little bit. I think that there are games with amazing soundtracks that fit so atmospherically well with their world that it just becomes a part of it. And I don't think that makes it bad. Like, even though we're doing the ESO Final Fantasy beef, I think ESO has amazing music. Like, just to be clear.
Sure.
I think Elder Scrolls has a long history of having amazing music. But if I was going to talk about New World, I never noticed the music. Like you saying that, I was going to say, yeah, it helps if you have a soundtrack. Because I never noticed it.
Yeah.
And listening to this now, I like this. I think it sounds really good. But I never noticed it actually playing the game. And I think sometimes you can have your music like fit and blend enough where it's like what they say with CGI, the best effects are the effects you don't notice. But I don't think that applies with soundtracks. I feel like if I'm not noticing it, I don't know if
then
that's additive at
yeah,
that
no,
point.
You know what? That's actually a really good point, and I'm going to concede a little bit of space here because as much as I think that soundtrack sounds great, I've mostly enjoyed it outside of the game. Same with ESO. I listen to those Brad Derrick soundtracks sometimes on repeat when I'm trying to get work done because it's just a perfect background sound. And they're beautiful compositions on their own without a game. Take the game out of it completely. These are amazing orchestral, cinematic, amazing pieces of work. In the game, I maybe don't notice it as much, but I would notice a weird change when I zoned over somewhere strange in Final Fantasy. I would notice the cadence and the difference, and maybe that's more gamey and pulls you into the world more. So fair enough. I think that's actually a pretty fair point. There are times though, like in World of Warcraft, I remember back in the day playing, I guess, Lich King, and then walking into what's that place everyone loves now, Grizzly Hills, for the first time. And there's something about the timing.
Grizzly Hills is great. That's a classic.
Mm-hmm. There's something about the timing of when you transition into that zone and that music hitting when it does that is really like ties the two together, and it's impossible to think of them out, kind of apart from each other. So the games could probably do a better job of doing that, but man, video game music is we have never had a better time.
I got one from from Final Fantasy for you.
Okay.
This is the early boss theme. I just want to point out this theme plays whenever I ride my horse.
Oh.
And it makes me so happy.
And you don't mean in real life, you mean when you're physically in the game, you're on a
No,
horse.
but if I rode a horse, I would play this song.
Okay, here we go.
My lovely, lovely horse.
It's very, okay. The Howling Eye. Now, if I loved the kind of anime you do, this would immediately appeal to me. Because you have to.
You mean
admit,
if you loved anime?
I mean, there's some anime I like, but this is like, to me, this just screams anime, and someone's about to go, and that's just the way this music is.
Hold on, you gotta wait for it. Hold on. It is very anime. No, you're not wrong.
You're like, wait for it. It's still anime.
Yeah, you're like, wait for it. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait for it, Scott. It's gonna get more anime.
Where's the opening credits and the freaking, characters jumping around?
I can picture the credits and the scene. I mean, it's good. I like it.
Oh yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying there's no place for that. Obviously there is,
but I will say, like, Blizzard still has some of the best soundtrack. Like StarCraft, all the StarCraft 2 soundtracks, Calling of Stratholme and Invincible, and all the Russell Brower stuff is really great. And Divinity Original Sin 2 is probably one of the best soundtracks ever.
As you hear Bo say that, one more, add that to your knowledge of why the Blizzard thing hurts so bad, because this stuff is that good and it hurts worse.
I'm really not in the habit of turning game soundtracks off, unless even in Heroes I never really turned it off. And I played a lot of games of Heroes. I'd still keep the music on. It's just an important part of the experience.
Great tracks on there. There's nothing wrong with Heroes music.
The Heroes soundtrack is amazing. Like, it's very good. So I don't know. I feel like it's an important part of gameplay. I don't really turn them off. Just to finish answering his question.
Well, there you go, Matt T. We hope you liked our answers, and I hated yours because Doom is cool. You're wrong. Just kidding. You can not like it. It's fine. I'm not going to judge.
It seems like, based on the commenting on less ear bleeding, it seems like maybe it's a genre of music that they just don't like.
Yeah.
And so, because to me, I agree, like, it feeds what that game is. Like, that game is supposed to just make you go, I'm gonna tear up demons, and like that, that's what the music is there for.
Yeah.
That music does that. Like, putting on something that's dark and ominous, which is what they said, is fitting for that world, but I kind of feel like the gameplay's not designed to be dark and ominous. There's nothing mysterious about it. You're the Doomslayer, there's demons, go kill them, and we're gonna thrash out to it while it goes on. Like, that's what it's there for.
Right. Here's just as an example, because we can play game music without getting in trouble, because that's the nice thing about games. I'm going to play this right here. It's called Rip and Tear, and it's from Mick Gordon, who made the original soundtrack and some of the work on the new one. So this is what he's complaining about. Yeah, I mean, it's speed metal. It's basically speed metal. Yeah, exactly. And now you're shooting your gun, spraying demons, and it's a sperm tornado everywhere you look. Wow, I wish you guys could see this at home. totally going toward it.
That's what that music makes me feel like just unloading a MIDI gun somewhere.
And it's it is speed metal, which may not be your.
I don't listen to this kind of music outside of Doom. I'm not even a metalhead. I know I have the long hair, but I don't. This is Doom music. This is ultra violence music.
Yeah, I love it all. All right, there's a place for all of it, is I guess my point. But now instead of dragon beef, we need music beef. Wait, how do I?
Music beef.
There.
Music beef.
Beef.
We'll just call it beef. Why not? All right. That's it for that email. That's it for the show. Big thanks to everybody for listening. A reminder to go. Well, first of all, goes out and congratulations to Joe Parr. Get your Xbox, man. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I'm happy somebody.
Very cool. And not enough. Can't say enough about our good pal Tanner Goodman, who bellied up this device so that he could have it, and I think that's just awesome. So huge thanks again to Tanner.
I want to give away another one.
I know. I want to keep doing this. We just don't have them.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. Anyway, we'll have more contests coming up soon. In the meantime, we would love it if you'd throw your support behind what we do here at Core over at patreon.com/Core Show. Delve in there, see what you like and what you might want to do in terms of a level, and throw it our way, because it's how we keep the lights on. It's how this show stays on the air. And you guys are legit. We love you guys. Check it out, patreon.com/Core Show. The website is frogpants.com/core, and you'll find everything else there that you might need. Send us those emails, talktothecore@gmail.com. I think that's everything. Let's leave with a quick word of wisdom from John. John, what would you like to tell the people?
Look, doesn't matter if it's dragon beef or music beef. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Beef is what's for dinner. That's a really good point.
Dragon
beef.
All right, Bo, anything you'd add?
I didn't prepare anything. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I'm kind of. Yeah. I just, just
you
get out of the. You see a sperm tornado, run away.
That's good advice. That's good advice. If you see a sperm tornado, go the other way. I love it. Yeah. All right.
Put an umbrella up right away.
I've learned something. You've learned something. We've all learned something. And know this: we'll be back again with another show next time. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
By the way, the theme we use that Bo made, I'd call that speed metal, wouldn't you?